Hey, and we're live. I want to welcome everybody to Comics Cast and Let It Out. And I have great guests for today, as well as the return of my special co-host. And I want to emphasize special co-host,
I am
Rick.
special.
Rick, say hi to
Hi,
everybody.
hello.
I think everybody
Hi,
was
hello.
missing. Everybody was missing you. I think that.
Let's hear. In case you, Gerald didn't point it out. He didn't even he didn't even compliment it. So that's
Yeah,
just
I know. Rick and I have a great, I guess, I don't know if the word is chemistry. I don't know, but he gets upset if I don't mention if he has a new hairstyle or a new.
I
new
just
beard,
want you to compliment me, man. I just want you to compliment me, man. Okay, we have this relationship, and I just want compliments.
Okay, all right. Well, you'll get some compliments later on because this show is not about you. It's about these guys right here. I want to welcome
Important
Sam.
guys.
Yeah, the important guys, Sam and Andy. How are you guys doing? Welcome to Comics Cast. Let It Out. Say hello to all of our viewing audience. Hey,
Delighted to be here.
Yes, we already got.
Hey.
Armando says, "What up, guys?" And I just want to say that our audience is in for. I say this every time, but it's like it just keeps on getting better. You guys are in for a treat because this particular dynamic duo, artist, writer, just creator combo here is going to bring something new to their particular Kickstarter project that hasn't been done before, or at least I haven't seen done before. Yeah. So,
there's socks involved. Hang on, just wait.
Yeah. Nice. Throw some water on that, Rick. But anyway, it's you're in for a treat. It's going to be a really cool Kickstarter campaign, and we're going to share that link out to you. But before we do that, I want to show everybody at the bottom. These are the social media handles to get in touch with Andy and Sam. Check out their Instagram, their Twitter, see what they're about, what artwork they've done, just everything and anything about them that's, I guess, public, that they can check out. But yeah, you're in for a treat. Just phenomenal artwork, phenomenal storytelling. So that being said, we're gonna just jump right in. Let's throw the mic over to you, Sam. Tell us a little bit about yourself in terms of where you've been, what you've been doing, up to the point where you meet Andy. So we have some artwork here. I know that you're a writer, but I want to also stress that you're also an artist. So take it away. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
These days, I'm primarily a comic book writer, but I did start off with the intention of writing and drawing. I did go to school for art, and I got my start in comics at Ty Templeton's Comic Book Boot Camp, a school here in Toronto, and actually shared a studio space with Ty in that school. And essentially after taking his courses, I opted to start diving into the world of comics full time, and shared studio space with wonderful other creators. And that's when I kind of got into more of the writing aspect. Basically, I was sitting across from my studio mate at the time, Bryce Hall, and we're working on our own projects. And Bryce had just put out his first issue of his comic, The Adventures of Adam Brochu, and just sort of mentioned how hard and difficult it was to write. And I was sitting there commenting about how difficult it was for me to draw. And that the writing sort of came a little more naturally. And at that point, it was a chocolate and peanut butter moment. It's Bryce sort of asked me to write his second issue for him. And the next thing you know, other studio mates and other folks I knew from Ty's school had asked me to write their second issues of their comics. And I've been writing ever since. Earlier this year, I joined a fairly renowned studio in Toronto called RAID, which is short for the Royal Academy of Illustration and Design. It's 20-year, close to 20 years in terms of a legacy studio that many luminaries in the Toronto comic scene have sort of passed through. February, I think, was when I first joined, and there was another gentleman there, fresh off the plane from Ireland. I think he literally came from the airport at that point. His name was Andrew Dorland. And yeah, within weeks of us joining this studio, COVID happened and the studio just sort of emptied out. And we found ourselves sort of the two new guys in this sort of enormous studio space. And yeah, one thing sort of led to another, and we started collaborating. BALLYSKILLEN ended up being our pandemic project.
Yeah, that's a great story. It was almost like, not to say that China was involved with getting the pandemic happen to get you guys together, but it sure sounds like a conspiracy theory to get BALLYSKILLEN on the on the burner, so we can all be able to check it out. But yeah, that's a great story. You came back from Ireland, Andy, and here we go. We're talking about you now. So let's Rick, you want to share? We had some fantastic artwork that Sam here. We're going to show some stuff here that from Andy. Andy, tell us a little bit about yourself in terms of where you've come from and what led you up to BALLYSKILLEN.
Yeah, sure. So I guess if you go way back in time, of course, like everyone else, I was always drawing and stuff, but I wasn't really pushed towards. I wasn't able to go to school for art because I don't know, parents and stuff, they weren't really too pumped about that. So I actually went to school for business. But I drew my way all the way through business school. I'll give you a quick rundown. I actually became one of the youngest stockbrokers in Canada before I quit because I was like, I can't, I got to draw. So I was like drawing in a business suit in the office, like Spider-Man and stuff. And people come in to invest money, and I'd be like, oh, I hide that. So stuff like that. And then I worked also in forestry and stuff, and yeah, we can get into some of that stuff. But then, so through my whole life, I was always drawing though, whenever I could, every second. So many years ago now, but I started freelancing and then never stopped. And along that journey, I ended up getting a storyboard gig in Ireland. And after growing up reading a bunch of Irish mythology storybooks that my great grandma has in the house from like the 1920s, that we have a family house that has all this old relics and cool stuff in the house, including a mummy hand. I got a lot of
that is so cool.
Yeah, so it does have an actual mummy hand in the house, but then amongst that, there's a bunch of old books. As me exploring as a kid, read all these stories, ended up getting that job in Dublin. Flew over to Dublin, did a bunch of storyboard work. And while I was there, I spent a lot of time in a pub, and I used that influence to write an awesome story. I thought it was pretty good. And then I was able to bring it back when I came back here, when I had the opportunity to join Raid. And I met Sam, and I was able to hand that story off, and Sam made it even better than I thought it was to begin with. So now we got something special.
Yeah. That's a great story. And we were just looking at your artwork here real quick. I saw some everything from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to Transformers to I forgot what the name of that character. He's like the flaming swordsman who can never die from
Eric,
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yes. The Dundarian, yes. And so this is what our audience is going to have to look forward to. Look at just I like the bold strokes. I love the positive, negative, and just it's the inking style that you have that is it's so fluid, and it definitely adds a dimension and character to all of your characters. So we have these things. And Rick, if you want to scroll down, these are your pinups, but what we're going to do is also show some of your sequentials. And I think that sure. Not every artist is a great, they may be good at pinups, they may be good at splash pages or doing just single page character art, but we see really great sequentials here, great storytelling, and this is just a preview of what we're going to see in BALLYSKILLEN. You're gonna see that, and then when you couple that with the great colors, you're just going to see something really special. It really creates that whole atmospheric mood, and everybody knows. Well, I can't speak from experience, but it sounds like some of the best ideas come from pubs. I think maybe I need to hang out in pubs and maybe I'll find my magnum opus in terms of like being able to figure out what my BALLYSKILLEN will be. But it's really cool to see this artwork. So we see the convergence of Sam and Andy as they jump into BALLYSKILLEN. So Rick, can we show this awesome Kickstarter
Already
page?
ahead of all of.
Okay, yeah, we're not going to show the page. Let's just show the artwork first, and then we'll go to the page. But here we go. We're going to go through this, and I would like you, Andy and Sam, if you want us to pause. But we're just going to go through some of the artwork that you shared with us. But we're just going to go through it, and you guys can tell us to stop, and you can want to explain a little bit about it. Just give us a little background of what Ballyskillen is, without giving any spoilers around, because we're going to have plenty of time to like go, dive deep into what the lore of Ballyskillen. But here you go. So let's go ahead and just jump right in.
Sure.
Go ahead. I was just going to talk about what you have on screen, and then Sam, you can take over some of the story stuff. Was just that what you're looking at here is my it's a variant cover that's available, but it's the main thing is it's a Jaws tribute, as you can kind of so it's like loosely like Jaws, and that's actually the lettering from Jaws. So
I get it.
That was my little play on it. So yeah, so this is a variant cover that's just exclusive to the Kickstarter. But yeah, Sam, do you want to talk about the?
Yeah, sure. Although mention Johnny the punk rock leprechaun first. Go ahead, Andrew.
Oh, yeah, sure. So this is Shane Heron. He did a variant of a cover for us, but that's Johnny the punk rock leprechaun. So if you could think about leprechauns normally in everyone's perceptions of what they are, he's pretty much the total opposite of that. We wanted to bring in a lot of the mythology and the actual stuff from the story. So he's actually a shoemaker. He fixes shoes. Is his main job.
Gold pots.
No gold pots. He doesn't wear green.
I totally did not know that they're known for making shoes. But you had a funny thing about Johnny. He does make shoes, but what's the thing about the shoes? He doesn't do it well.
And he doesn't. So his business isn't very good. So he actually he works at the pub because I don't know. The story takes place in the 1980s, and there's really not a whole lot of shoe fixing as much as back in the day, I guess, of old when he used to be really rolling in it. So now he works at the pub, and he loves. The other cool thing about him is he loves America and punk rock. So is anything American and stuff that he's obsessed with. He's obsessed with America. So so he's really like the counterculture. Really shows you don't expect the normal stuff.
I love this one.
This is
so tells so many stories right here.
This was, I think, the first image that Andrew drew for the story, completely finished. And essentially, working with a lot of artists, you tend to sort of give them an out. Having had to draw stories myself, I never sort of hand anything over that I wouldn't be willing to sort of draw myself. So I always sort of give an out. And in this case, it was an enormous battlefield. And I kind of said, well, it's just the main characters that are important. So if you wanted other figures to indicate it was a large battle, just put them in silhouette in the background, so we know. But it came back, and darn it, he had drawn the whole battlefield.
I know.
This is the crane shot from Gone with the Wind,
Exactly.
Oh, nice.
I joked around with Andy. I said, hey, when we start doing drawings, you don't need to worry about polishing up stuff. I don't do not polish. And it's here Sam says, hey, we just need a general
battle
scene. You don't have to go crazy with it. And this is Andy not going crazy with it.
I'll just say the really cool thing, because I'm coloring myself, so it's a really nice thing is it's a danger as an artist to get that much detail all over the page. But when you're going to color it, I can play off the colors to really make the important things pop. Right?
And you did for sure. It looks
that's what I was alluding to is the colors. We're going to talk about a lot of the color theory that goes into when we share some of the artwork from Ballyskillen. There is a definite attention. The art storytelling is phenomenal, but when you get to see the colors, Andy and Sam literally paint or visually paint an atmosphere, this world that they're building in Ballyskillen. You can definitely it feels like the experience is very immersive. So anyway, let's keep on going with some of these.
Well, this is just to mention. This is we haven't talked too much about him. He's quite mysterious, but this is our mentor figure, a haunted mentor figure at that. We're always trying to play with tropes and sort of turn them around. So in my mind, Hero with 1,000 Faces is always there, but you're always trying to sort of subvert those expectations.
Here's the man of mystery. The man of mystery here. Gotta look. To
I
see who
really
this is.
like. I must say, as a fan of European comics, you really got that, and you got the feel of European comics in there, while still also keeping the feel of American comics at the same time. That's really great job. It's to mix those two styles as well as you have.
Thanks.
Hey, remember, they're Canadian.
Yeah, but he's been to
So
Ireland.
you can say Western. You can say Western, but they're
Canadians
Canadian.
also grew up with a lot of us also grew up with Asterix and Tintin.
There you go. There
we go. There you go. But anyway, let's keep on going.
I just said European and American because those two styles are very different with each other and unique.
Yeah, totally.
And you can see that in your style. It's a mix of both, and I really love it.
Yeah, thanks so much, man. I think like a big thing we could talk about it too. Like I'm a huge influence from a lot of painters and stuff outside of comics. So it's a lot of like some of that will bleed in there, impressionists and stuff like that. Maybe the colors. I don't know. You can take a look, but that's the kind of stuff I love looking. Like Casper. I don't know if you know Frederick Casper's an old painter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love Casper stuff. Like I'll grab anything Casper from anywhere. Yeah, and even his subject matter and stuff. He's amazing. But
yeah, and this is another sequential, or we're seeing a sequential here from BALLYSKILLEN, and this is what I was talking about, the colors here. When you think about, it's more subdued, it's desaturated, but it's very deliberate in how the colors, I see here. It's like you can see we showed some of Andy's artwork earlier, and the distinctive inks and the bold fluid strokes, but here when you add color on top of it, I mean, I this is what I think about when I was like, you go to a pub and you can smell it, you can see it. It's right there. What you're saying, Rick?
Yeah. You do your own colors as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you can almost tell when the artists do it all in some way, because it has this kind of fluidity that you can't get with combining two different artists in some way or another. And I really like how instead of using your inks, you used your colors to make it so fluid as you did with the colors. It's really good.
Particularly as he was saying, with the amount of detail he puts into it.
I know.
Being able to separate the foreground, middle ground, background, the number of characters in there are all sort of distinct. And in some cases, you've seen bad coloring that can basically turn it into a flattened mess, right?
You're right, exactly.
He's showing coloring 101 just on this side, just on this page. Basically, if we have to go a little more into details, like the background should be has less color details, and then you add more and more details, the more foreground and the more important things is. That's really good. You know your stuff.
And just the subtlety to draw, because there's multiple characters here, and there's these are sort of our main cast, and you know instantly who's the main cast based on where your eye is drawn for the color. There's our main character, Rory, and just to get into the premise of what this is all about, our washed up pub owner, Rory here, is our main protagonist, and he's basically been blackmailed into becoming the human agent for this hidden fairy community, and he's essentially seeing his friends and people he's known all his life in fresh eyes for the first time. He's actually seeing the village without the enchantment, and trying to wrap his head around the fact that here in particular, his two best friends, Johnny and Clive, are actually a leprechaun and a shape-shifting puka, respectively. And as you can see, the red draws you right to Rory, the blues draw you right to Clive and Johnny. So
yeah, exactly. Also, I just noticed. I don't know if you did if this is what I think it is, but I'm calling it right now. This is the Danish flag, right?
No, I didn't mean to.
And you did it just for me.
I updated it.
Oh, that's what I love about Rick. He can spot he has eagle eyes for all these details.
It is the Danish flag, though. It is exactly the Danish flag.
There you go. He's Andy and Sam are making sure Denmark represent. Make sure they got to find some way in there. But this is exactly what I love about Andy and Sam's book is that when you see art like this, it's like you see it and you just appreciate it. You don't know why it just feels right. It looks good. It's aesthetically pleasing, but when you see bad art, it hits you like in the face, and you recognize what doesn't work. And when it's so harmonious, it just works, and you look at it, and that's what I want to take away from want our audience to see, that Ballyskillen, it has a great story. Sam sort of alluded in terms of what the world of Ballyskillen and who the main protagonist and what his larger role is. And we're going to go further into that, but let's just keep on going through the artwork because I want to get to the live drawing thing, but I also want to show the Kickstarter. So let's keep on going through some of this artwork. And you guys can keep on talking about it.
Another thing that I really like about your stuff is all the small details you put in it. We saw quickly in another. I didn't even notice that little elf thing with Harry before I jumped out. There's one here as well. All these small little thing. I love that. I love that kind of detail.
Thanks. I was like, even if you zoom, I can't zoom in, but there's like Barry's Tea. I've made sure that's like the Irish brand, and then even that pub is actually.
I need to shut down my Discord. I apologize for that.
How unprofessional!
Yeah,
just kidding.
No. It's okay.
No, it's okay. It's a joke. It's a joke. But keep on going.
Oh no! And my boss is in the comment chat, so now I'm getting fired. Hi, Joe. Now, so let's get back to this one. Speaking of high details, I've already looked at this for like 5 minutes and just been off, and I still see new things because you're just.
So even if you want to dive in like the inside art thing, you can still follow. So when I'm laying this out, it's kind of like I don't know, my attempt at Will Eisner style, like no panel. So you can still flow in that like backwards S. So if you start on the top left, everything's going to flow into that tree. And then I really try to make the angle. The table will lead you back to the owl, and then the owl is going to bring you around the bottom with him pointing back to the moon. So it's like if you can see my layouts before I put any of the detail down, that's what's happening. And then even the blacks kind of row. If you just squint your eyes, you should be able to follow the heavy blacks around the top, and then cut through the middle and come down to the bottom. So
this is exactly
that's not easy to do.
No, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
You nailed it.
It works, yeah. And I like how I'm a graphic designer, my day job, and I just look about how you lead people's eyes through this, and even like with the bird's wings, how that sort of frames things and points things, and it can be very hard to do a composite and not just do a composite illustration and just look like a jumbled mess. You basically have to figure out what visual elements you can use to point the viewer's eye around the composition, and it just has it does have that flow to it, and the inks are so fluid. I mean, I just look at the things that you do with the water effects there at the bottom, and you have things at different scales and different perspectives, and it just works. It looks really great, and let's just keep on going because I want people to see some art here in action. So here's a sequential. You guys want to talk a little bit about this one?
Well, these are all the black and white pages you've been showing. They're all from an 8-page story that Andrew and I first did when it was the early days, right, of the pandemic, Andrew?
Yeah, it was like right near the start.
Yeah, I get just even for fun, we just decided to do a short story together, and at that point, you could really feel the chemistry in terms of the ideas. There was a lot of sort of back and forth between us in terms of what Andrew sort of thrived on and wanted to draw, and so I tried to give him as much freedom as possible while sort of giving structure to the story that would allow him to do scenes like this. So I really felt the magic of this collaboration. So when he invited me on to do Ballyskillen, I was, it was his dream project, but it actually has become mine as well. I'm a huge fan of contemporary.
That's important.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of contemporary fantasy, and I've always wanted to do a sort of Sandman style book.
Yeah,
that it's really come together nicely for both of you with this. Then, I mean, how was it for you, Dorland? It's a little jump away, but how was it for you to give away your your story, so to speak, to a quote unquote unknown person. You've known him for a few months before you decide to give that story away.
Yeah,
I mean, you're not giving it away. Of course, you're putting it on a somewhat stranger
for sure.
hands. Was that tough for you? Because that would be tough for me to rely on someone that I.
Rick is very possessive. That's
still doesn't know yet.
But
you would be as well. You would be as well, Gerald, if it was your big life story you wanted to bring forth.
I'm joking.
So trusting people is hard. So what?
I saw what Sam was doing, and we connected over this story. So this story is an 8-pager it's included now in the Kickstarter as well. So people will get this along with the other one, with the main story of Ballyskillen, and they tie in together. But we did this one first, and then after having that, like kind of a test run, together, working relationship, we got along so well that I had this other story. I think it's something that everyone should consider is know your strengths and weaknesses. Like I had the plot all written out. I can do a plot, I can come up with a story, but I know I'm not great at getting into the dialogue and the story structure itself. Like Sam was able to take my story and restructure the whole thing to make it way more interesting than like I had more like, here's this A, B, C, D, E, F, G happens, like it was cool, but it wasn't as cool. So Sam was really able to take it and jumble it all around, ask me more questions, and be that sounding board to make it way better than I did. So like I know that. I know I can't write dialogue to save my life. I'm spending too much time drawing this stuff. So
hey, well, that's what being a part of a team is. And it sounds like Sam definitely knows his alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So really, really cool. It's nice to have a connection, a synergy between two creators to make something much more vibrant, much more appealing, and just this is what we're showing right here. So here's another. This is more of a rough. I guess this was like a character concept to show two of your characters from Ballyskillen. You want to talk a little bit about this?
Yeah, sure. So that's just this is like I think one of the very first things I just sketched up, and it's Rory, and then that's Clive. He's a shape-shifting puka. So they're like a trickster character for the most part, but he's also very cynical. And so it's like a main trio in the story. It'd be Rory, and then Johnny that you saw, the leprechaun, and Clive's the third part of the trio. And he can shapeshift into a ton of different animals. Traditionally in the stories, they're usually horses or goats. And they're usually like farmers don't want them in their land. And there's a ton of stories with them everywhere. They steal stuff, and like if something goes missing, it might be a puka and all this jazz, right? And they destroy your crops. But he's kind of a unlikely companion. But he can throughout the story you'll see that's his main form is a giant rabbit, and that he can shapeshift into a bunch of different creatures and stuff as he needs to.
Geese.
He could be a geese. Yeah, he could be goose.
Yeah.
A goose, yes.
Canadian geese, I think, but I don't know if geese are very popular or very prolific, or they're found in Ireland. But I think that a giant shape-shifting blue bunny. I mean, where can you find that in comics today? I can't. Ballyskillen, that's where you can find it. I can find it there.
Now, see if you guys can. There's a hidden creature in this.
There's a face here.
Yeah.
Woo! Hidden creature, huh?
Rick's got
Rick,
I won, Gerald. I won.
Yeah, too slow.
Oh, Rick's all about the winning. Gotta win. But I was too just floored by this composition. I mean, we talked about, I can't keep on saying about it. I mean, just you look at the composition itself, you look at the brilliant inking, and then you top it off with this atmospheric color treatment. I mean, it looks like this could be pulled out of like a movie still. It's like I feel like I look at this and I can actually hear footsteps treading through like a swamp-like area, and you could smell the methane and see everything being lit by this the surreal moonlight, and then you have this glowing thing here that's in the main character Rory's hand. Gosh, tell us a little bit about this. Tell us a little bit about this.
So like if you even want to start, the composition is pretty simple. It's actually just the golden ratio. If you cut a line from the top left tree branch to the trunk, and then cut another straight line from the top right to the bottom left, then that frames the thing, and you make sure to leave the other side empty. So there's a lot of stuff I'll do like that when I'm laying stuff out. But as far as the medallion goes, not to get too deep into it, but Rory eventually does get something that kind of is special to him. It aids him on his quest. So it's kind of kind of giving you a little taste of kind of some stuff that's going to happen. And this is the main trio, as you can see. You got your main 3 crew off to try to solve some mysteries, and I went with a little Scooby-Doo vibe with Clive doing a little point at the top. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. Scooby-Doo, it did have that. It did harken to that, and Zoinks, yes. Yeah, it looks very, very good. Let's keep on going. What's the next one here?
This is the colored version of the ink version we had before.
Yes. So go ahead. Yeah.
Again, you keep the color simple, and you don't take away from what's important, which colorists can do. Sadly, sometimes but again, it's your own lines, your own ink, so you know what you want to show, and you make it even more clean with the flow of panels, which is
lack of panels. It's a composite.
The panels that aren't there, but maybe are there. But the panel flow, the flow overall is really good on this. I've done a lot of criticism of different comic pages and panels and flow, and I have yet to see something at this level. It's very rare I see something this good.
And like a good cinematographer as well, color temperature, you'll notice, is very, very key in the storytelling.
For sure.
As we go through the various color pages.
I'm looking more and more forward to getting this. That's for sure. It's just the more I see it, the more I want from it. But that was it of the PDFs.
Yeah. Okay. So we're 30 minutes into it, so we have a nice flow here. So let's show the actual Kickstarter page. And we're gonna play the video that they have here. So so if you want to go there we go. So scroll on up. Yep, scroll and so let's play. This is the BALLYSKILLEN. Before you do that, let me go back and show the banner here. So you look at the bottom, BALLYSKILLEN, an augmented reality modern fantasy comic book on Kickstarter. Go, go, go. So here, I want you guys, our audience, to go visit this this particular URL. It's scrolling at the bottom. Just check it out. Not right now, because we want you to pay attention to this little interview and live drawing that we're going to do. But hey, let's play the video so we can let everybody see about it.
Is there audio on your side?
I don't think so.
There's no audio? Well, that's professional of me.
Okay.
There should be audio.
Hey, you know what? If there's no audio, we can focus on the visuals. Our audience can go check this out a little later on, and you can.
Yeah, you need go check it out when you're funding them anyways, because you love this. So you're gonna fund them, you're gonna help them, and to get this comic because you love what you're seeing. And then
you've seen the example of the animation in here as well, and the drawings. So.
Right. Well, okay. Let's just go through it one more time so we can appreciate the visuals without the audio.
And this is the kind of animation you'll find in the augmented reality. Andrew is he's got a storyboard and he does animatics as well. So,
man of many talents. So now we get to see. Just looking at this, we get to see the vibrant artwork now in an animated form. Oh, look at that! You got stuff that's breaking the panels too, like the interactions.
And folks can go download the augmented reality app for free, and then just try it out on their digital screen. So have their phone and point it at the 3 or 4 samples we have on their computer or tablet using their phone.
But we'll get more into that a little later as well.
Sure.
Yeah, I think this is basically this is like foreshadowing. We want to whet the appetites of our audience in terms of what they're going to get out of if you participate.
That was the quick intro. There's another minute, but that's with talking.
Yeah.
We are doing that right now.
And just so I can just give Rick a hard time. Rick, so pro.
Pat O'Donnell. Pat needs to just smile and be happy that he's here. Hi, Pat. Right. How's it going?
So yeah, that's kind of funny. But anyway, let's go. Rick's gonna scroll down through this page. So this is just more of, if you can get more insight into the world of Ballyskillen, and when we get into our live drawing, I'm gonna let Andy and Sam talk a little bit about the main hero, quote unquote hero, because it's not a spandex wearing superhero type hero. He's Rory, the pub owner. But just check it out. This has basically a lot of the art that we had shown before, but it gives you more information, more details about the rich world that is Ballyskillen. And I just love that it's also Irish folklore, and it's not like an Irish fairy tale. These are all new characters, all new. It's not like we had talked about Fables, which is, to me, was a parallel that I was thinking about, the DC comic Fables. And you were telling me, hey, yeah, it maybe has a little bit of that vibe, but it's not the same type of thing. This isn't like a Irish fairy tale that you're telling, or folklore. It's different. So you guys want to talk a little bit how that's different from like Fables?
I am a huge fan of Fables, actually. I attended the one and only Fables Con in Minneapolis, or near Minneapolis, which was wonderful. But it was, being a big fan of that series, it was very, very important that we, we're in sort of a similar territory, but the rule we sort of set up for ourselves is basically these are all original characters. We're not taking any characters that aren't, in terms of our main characters, from existing fairy tales. We're creating them whole cloth, and essentially using the creatures and fairies, the types of fae, the fair folk, and creating all new characters. So we have a leprechaun character, we have a puka character, Rory is our access character to this world. We have a druid character called Mr. Babbins, and not to give any much away, there are other characters that are different classifications of mystical creatures that will be entering the fray as things ramp up in the series. But
yeah, I was like, I just had like this I want to call it epiphany, but I just had this core, thing about when we're talking, you listen to you describe it. I have this vision of like Andy, like exploring like the attic of his mother's or his grandmother's home, and finding all this rich Irish mythology and books. And it kind of made me think, it's like the Goonies meets Never Ending Story.
Yeah,
with the mummy hand, the real mummy hand that's in his attic. I mean, how cool is that? And he's like, I got this, he's Sebastian in Never Ending Story. He's like, he's coming up with that story with Sam, and they're writing the story. They're coming up with the artwork for it, and they're gonna open the world up to our viewers and people that want to support it. And before we get into the live drawing, let's scroll up to the very, very top, and then we're gonna go look at the characters that we're gonna draw. So scroll up to the top.
Sure.
I want to stress this because this is something that I really look at whenever I look at Kickstarters, when I look at any kind of crowdfunding. This is what I want.
It's in Danish, the money.
Okay, I want you guys to know.
Here, look, I got the
wow, for a
conversion.
minute there, I thought we had raised $20,000.
No.
I want you guys to like.
We're rich. I'm heading to Tijuana.
I'm gonna retire. Yeah, I wanted to stress this because even though this is in Danish currency right now, it's
The
really
converted form is here. It's
exactly. I want to say that this campaign is funded. It's been done. So I think that we can get them. We can unlock more stretch goals. We can get them. We can get it much further along. But I also want to look. If you want to move your cursor out there, look at the number of backers. This is another thing that I look at when I look at crowdfunding. You can see successful campaigns. And I joked with him. I said, hey, you got 135 backers. Unless like 60 of them were family members for Andy and 70 of them were members for Sam.
Canadians
maybe
have big families.
And they have lots of geese. Maybe all the geese were like supporting them. Yeah. But I was just going to say that, unless these were all just really big family members who were just sympathetic to your cause, that is not the case. These are 135 backers that believe in what you guys are doing. And that speaks volumes right there. And it's funded. So kudos to you guys. So anybody who's watching this, just help get more icing on that cake, because the cake has been baked and it's ready to go. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you shouldn't. Not, as you can see, it's funded. So you helping now, backing now is more for your own sake, to get the actual comic, get the art. I know many does it because they want to be kind and supportive and back them. But now it's backed. It's great, and it's deserves to be backed. Now you can go in and get the comic as well, just for the comic's sake, because you want it, because you like what you are seeing, and not have the feel of, oh, I want to back them as well.
Yeah.
Yes, just the feeling. Get this, and you know what? You know what you should get. Here's what you should get. I'll show you exactly what's pledged.
I showed this to Rick, and Rick already figured out what his tier that he wants.
I am getting this tier solely because. Listen, you get socks, guys. You get augmented reality socks. It's not just socks with the characters. The characters are in augmented reality, meaning they move, they do stuff.
It's also front and back, so you see that's
front and back, guys. Socks.
That rabbit will start doing an Irish jig for you.
Oh, there we go.
An Irish jig on socks, guys. Socks.
Enough said. That's all you got to say. If you just need to support it because of the socks. The socks alone.
There's also original art you can get.
Which is running out fast. And actually, most of the splash pages and covers are gone. So if you want to get a commission or some interior art,
you can get all that to actually really cheap prices as well. But what you should focus on,
in
my humble opinion, you get socks with your comic.
Yeah,
that means you have warm feet while you read your comic. Isn't that's nice? I need socks because my socks are not good anymore. I've worn them out, so I need new socks.
They're holy socks. Holy socks.
So I'm gonna pledge for socks.
Well, Andrew and I were just talking the other day about how gratifying it was, because your initial spike is generally folks and fellow creators, et cetera. But I even asked him over the past couple of weeks, have you recognized a lot of the names? And for the most part, not that we don't love the support of our friends and fellow creatives, but what's really neat is when you see people who discover you through social media or the Kickstarter platform itself, and are coming to you because they appreciate the art and the story that you're wanting to tell.
Yeah.
There's also a t-shirt. There's also a t-shirt.
Two t-shirts.
You will not freeze if you buy this. You will not freeze.
Yeah, avoid getting a frostbite in the Canadian winter.
How about underwear? Like,
oh, okay. You have to go there, Rick. You have to go. That's going to be for Kickstarter. That's going to be for BALLYSKILLEN issue 2. They're going to do boxer shorts or thermal underwear.
It better be now, okay. Sam. I'm looking at you. It better be there now.
Okay, so
boxers or briefs, Rick?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Whatever works.
Thongs.
Yeah. If it's going to be a thong, I want Clive on the front.
Oh, there you go. Dancing Clive.
No, we're gonna give you the Johnny the Leprechaun thong. That's what it's gonna be. Hey, that even rhymes. Leprechaun thong. So anyway, I'm about ready to cry because I was just so funny. I just have to keep. We're have to go on. So Rick, can you scroll up to
socks?
Socks. That's right. Can you scroll up to the characters? Because I think this is a great way to transition to the next part of our show, which is the live drawing part of it. And let's look at Rory here. So that is who we're gonna draw for challenge live drawing number 1, subject number 1. So let's call up some art cams here. So Andy, if you want to go ahead and add yours to the stream.
Sure, man. Yeah.
And we're gonna have Andy's art cam to be the main screen, because really no one really wants to see my artwork. Rick especially, he hates my artwork. We're gonna showcase Andy's artwork here. We're gonna get to see Rory done, and while we're drawing, I'm going to let Rick and Sam do some witty banter in terms of being able to talk about who Rory is, what Rory's about, and
What
the whole
does he
reason.
wear?
Yeah, and how
boxers, briefs, or thongs.
Thongs, right?
Yeah.
You guys and you know, you guys can go that route. You know, I think Andy and I are just going to be pleasantly drawing
Rory
along.
seems like a thong kind of guy, though.
Rory probably would be tidy whities. I think he's a real sort of working man's man, you know.
No, he does seems like to be one that likes to party on the inside, so he hides the thong away.
I'm gonna find it very difficult to not draw, because I'm gonna want to listen to you guys go. But you guys, hey Sam, tell us a little bit about Rory, and Rick will be he's gonna keep on thinking about thongs, I'm sure. But you know, you can tell us a little bit about who he is and what he's about.
Well, the wonderful thing about Rory, and he was a fairly fully fleshed out character when Andrew brought him to the collaboration, but he's an everyman. And a very, very reluctant hero. He really, really doesn't want complications in his life. And he is, you know, he's inherited the family pub, and he's been going through the motions more or less for a number of years. And then there's the call to action. There's the call to heroism. And yeah, we basically watch him as the access character to suddenly discover this whole world and not really sure that he wants any part of this. But there is a series of mysterious disappearances of children, and that's what compels him to take action and at least start to try to do something. This is the first task that our mysterious druid character, Mr. Babbins, sets him on once he acquires poor Rory's pub and blackmails him into helping this fairy community. And Rory's, again, as we mentioned, he's known all these folks in the village for years and years. He just hasn't realized that they were fairies. So there is a lot of belief that he has to muster up in order to convince himself that, you know, he's not dreaming, or he hasn't hit his head too hard, or he's hadn't had a few too many drinks.
A pint too many.
Exactly, a few too many Guinnesses, and yeah, he loves his drink. You can see him as sort of again, this is sort of the backstories you kind of dream up, but especially when Andrew is constantly putting in rugby jersey. I played rugby in high school, and for me, this brings to mind sort of a jock that peaked early. You know, he wears this rugby jersey just to relive the glory days. And yeah, suddenly there's a new mission in life, and is he willing to step away from the past to create a new future for himself that isn't quite in his comfort zone? You know, especially when he's been so comfortable for so long.
I mean, he does seem like your average Irish pub owner for sure. I mean, I'm guessing Andy had to go to many pubs in order to get the proper reference, and
that was research, right? You know, it was all in the name of research, right?
Yeah, I can even tell, like the main pub it's modeled after, it's a place called Clears in Kilkenny. It was my hangout, my haunt, I guess. So yeah, if you're ever in Kilkenny, anyone, you can actually go and check it out. It should look pretty close. I did a lot of sketches of the bar, and then the actual Rory character is based off of really, really loosely, but there's a bartender named Benji that is at another place called the Tolsol, also in Kilkenny, and I spent a lot of time there. There's a really like sports super rugby pub, and like tourists would look in the door and it'd be really dark in there, and they would back out quickly. So that was my kind of place.
Well, he doesn't. Your friend doesn't suffer fools, right?
Yeah.
Also a reminder, I am keeping time, and the first one here is 20 minutes, and you're already going through 4 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, just so you know, there will be a time where I say stop. You probably won't listen to me, but I will say it. It's the same. What I'm really interested in right now, besides the socks, I want to know a little more about the whole idea of augmented reality, just a little bit. While they're drawing.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, basically, this is something that we had finished the entire story. We had finished the script and we were ready to go. And I think was it for a job, Andrew, that you first started using Blender?
I honestly forget. It's been a long time ago.
Yeah, I think it involved. It might have been your board game, but Andrew might have started playing around with Blender for one of his design gigs, and having a storyboard and animatic background, he automatically sort of saw the potential of enhancing this. And even just for fun, I think he started animating that first page of our short 8-page story, and it was quite incredible. And then your mind starts going, and we started talking about this together. And essentially, what we both agreed on, and again, this is part of the chemistry. This is why I really feel like we're a very simpatico creative team. We both agreed that we had seen augmented reality used in comics previously. I think a lot of them were called, I'm using finger quotes, motion comics, where the panel kind of animates a little bit. You add sound effects, you add, special effects or whatever, but no one has really tried to push the boundaries of how you use augmented reality for storytelling. And that was always the key for us. So you see the splash page with Mr. Babbins cradling the child. It suggests a past for Mr. Babbins. It's just a glimpse. And I believe this was the first sequence that Andrew animated as well. Andrew animated the entire battle scene, which is incredible to me.
Nice.
You can watch the video on the Kickstarter video, but
we're gonna go to delve more into it with the videos here at the end. I just wanted to talk a little bit about it because we can talk about that alone for a long time.
Absolutely.
It's something I haven't seen yet in Kickstarters or indie comics in general, for that matter. It's usually only been the bigger Marvel is the first thing that just jumps to my mind. I remember it from that didn't go so well for them because they didn't go all out. They were too safe with it, I think. So you have to be careful. So that's the one thing you have to be careful with. But
I think it was because when Marvel did it, or any of the other companies that had tried it, to me, everything has to be done with intention. It didn't mean like when they did it, it didn't really add anything to it. It was just to say they were doing it to do it. And what I thought was really cool about what you guys are doing for it, it's a story enhancer. You talk about how Rory he's the lens now that can see this world of Ballyskillen. He can see the fairies. He can see all the mystical characters, these supernatural characters. So it makes sense to have an augmented reality component, right? I mean, is that what that was it's done with intention. So again, you sort of spitball some ideas back and forth, and one of them is I don't know if Rick is familiar with the movie They Live. Yeah. With Rowdy Piper.
I'm a huge wrestling fan, and I love my Rowdy Piper movie.
Imagine the augmented reality functions a little bit like the glasses. So in our story, once Rory starts seeing the creatures, you can actually, you as the reader, once you finish the story, can go back with your augmented reality app and actually see sequences where you saw them as normal human beings, and through the app can see them as their fairy creature counterparts, their true forms. So that's part of the storytelling.
That's amazing.
The technology has come a long way since then, as Andrew will probably point out later. It's the recognition of the image itself rather than QR codes and things like that. So you put it over the image and it clicks on automatically, and
So you're not you're not filling the pages with prompts on how use the app now and all that. The reader have to like figure it out themselves when there might be something different in the app. And I really like that because that engages the viewer even more.
It's a very organic process now, for sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like our the creative process is very organic. The other thing is you really do need a creator like Andrew who has all the skill sets. Not only is he an incredible, he's a Renaissance man. He's got the incredible comic artist child, but as a separate discipline, animation and even programming to create the app. Andrew created the app.
Oh, cool. I'm just a hack in all of the above. I just know enough.
You're just hacking.
Yeah, I think Andrew has to update his resume after the show. He is a Renaissance man. I want everybody to know that because, and you know, I mean that would be
hacker.
because I want to say that with the utmost respect, because there are a lot of people that say they can do certain things, but you know, you are doing it. You know, let's look at just what you're doing with the comics part of it. You know, being co-creator, you're laying out the panels, you're penciling, you're inking, you're coloring, but you're also an animator. I mean, that's great, and I think that Sam, you being brought into this, I mean, it's got to be just awesome watching Andy go to work. You refining that script, making that story tighter, and then just seeing it come to life, not just on the page, but to see an augmented reality component. I mean, that's got to be a trip, right?
Absolutely. Every day is like Christmas around here, especially this is the other awesome thing about working as a duo with a studio as well. Often you don't have the writer-artist team working in, let's say, a Marvel bullpen style where we're in the same studio. So there is, just walking back and forth and just being able to say, hey, what do you think of this? Or what do you think of this? There's a lot more organic process involved in back and forth and collaboration than if you were even communicating over Zoom. I'm working with an artist right now in Thailand, and as wonderful as it is to have sort of Zoom conferences,
it's not. Oh, did he freeze?
I think he froze.
Oh, am I back?
Oh yeah, there you're back. You're back.
Okay,
good. I thought that was dramatic pause. I think Sam was waiting for that. That was one of his writing skills that he wanted to do. Is he wanted to leave us on.
I saw Gerald's heart jump into his throat for a second.
I was like, oh no, what happened?
But yeah, I must agree with you, Sam, that Andy seems to be really something special when he does all this, and he does it so well. I mean, I've heard of people that are able to do a lot of things, but then quote unquote half-ass it and doesn't do it all the way. Andy, however, appears to me like when he does it, he goes all in and doesn't stop until it's exactly how he wants it, and I can only respect that kind of commitment and dedication. And what I'm really impressed about as well is that you've done all this within a matter of 7 months.
Oh, wow.
At max. I mean, the pandemic has only been 7 months, so you've done it for shorter time, of
while
course.
Working on a whole bunch of other projects too. Yeah. He's still got his commercial gigs and his storyboard gigs, and he's done other comics in the meantime. So the man is incredibly prolific. It's quite a joy to see.
You as well. You've been working fast on this as well. So don't give him all the credit. You've been helping him.
Well,
I know you're Canadian and you guys are humble, but take it. You're allowed.
Thank you. But nowhere near as labor intensive as doing full anime. Andrew is doing full 2D animations, and again, you've only gotten a taste of what he's putting into this. This isn't just sort of moving panels slightly. He's built actually the village and the pub fully in a 3D environment, and it's almost like Andrew can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's almost like a Hollywood movie set in that these are buildings.
So Andy doesn't sleep. That must be his secret. He doesn't sleep.
Well, you know what? He's building all these animation assets. I'm waiting for Netflix to call you guys and say, hey, you know what? We like BALLYSKILLEN. we'd like to do an animation, and Andy's gonna go, you know what? Hold my beer. Here you go.
You know what? No.
I got my animation ready to go.
Daryl, it's not gonna be beer. It's gonna be hold my pint.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
This is the non-drinker in me, uninformed.
Yeah.
I just don't know the correct terminology. But anyway, I just heard the hold my beer. That seems to be a common catchphrase. Hold my pint.
That was in like a year ago. You're keeping up with the times, Daryl. It's good. So Sam,
you know what? I got a meme for you that I'm going to share later on, and it's going to be uncensored. So just later on, okay?
Oh, that sounds like a threat. Anyway, Sam, I got to ask you.
Sure.
Like a little closer about the whole going from artist to writer, because from what with my experience, it's usually the other way around. What made you? We talked a little about it at the start when you introduced yourself, but what made you go that route?
To be honest, I love collaboration, and being a cartoonist, to say someone who writes and draws their own stuff, it is a sort of lonely pursuit, and the opportunity sort of presented itself to collaborate. And nothing, to be honest, energizes me more than the collaborative process. And also, I love storytelling. To me, the mechanics of telling a story and the structure of telling a story and developing character arcs and surprising a reader and taking tropes and turning them on their head. This is what really, really sort of excites me the most. And I was in my original studio environment, was given this gift of literally half a dozen artists who said to me, hey, can you work with me on my stuff? And for the past whatever it is, 6-7 years, I've had the gift of having in general, it always happens organically too. Often they're friends or folks who know me, and it's nice to sort of have a reputation in the Toronto creative community as someone that an artist can come to with their vision, and for me to help them flesh it out. Like I said, I wrote a lot of second issues at the beginning, and since then have sort of come in to a lot of projects from the very beginning. So it is more of a collaborative process. I love studying an artist's work before I even sit down to bang out a script. I really, really have to study an artist's work, look through their pages, see what their strengths are, see what they even chatting, being friends really helps in terms of knowing, because they'll be doing their pages maybe for other writers or their own series, and be sort of telling me what they find sort of a little more difficult, a little bit more of a drag to draw, what they love to draw. And when their face lights up about how certain pages are going, you kind of know what their strengths are, what they enjoy. Not that I also don't try to challenge them. So in every script, I'll try to put as many things that an artist enjoys drawing and work to that artist's strengths, but I'll also attempt to nudge them a little bit. And in the case of Andrew, he rises to the challenge every single time and goes beyond. Like, I draw a line here and he's already run past the line, as on his way downfield.
He's already at the field goal.
No, absolutely. Every single time, as soon as I pass the ball off, he's gone and scored.
See, that's what I personally like as well from the sound of it, as you're telling me. By the way, you two that's drawing 5 minutes.
5 minutes,
left.
Okay.
What I like about you, Sam, and what you make it sound like is that you get a more kick out of helping other artists rather than doing your own personal thing. You like jumping in and helping other artists also become better. Also, and do make your stuff. Personally, with me, I can't write my own stuff. I know that, but I'm very good at doing what make already created characters and built further on them, and it sounds like you're somewhat the same. I can see, of course, that you've done your own stories as well, and you have a good renown of names behind you of what you've done as well, and all that is impressive in its own right. But you do seem, as you just said, to really like this thing where you jump in on another person, start a project, and somewhat help them improve.
Yeah,
and make
a
stronger
lot
and
of
better.
it is sort of finding the commonality, so sort of the common interests we have, and building on that, and also knowing what the complementary strengths are in a collaboration. So yeah, there's a lot of situations where you know, the like this one where we share story credit, and then I'll go off after like we were saying earlier, Andrew actually had a full pitch document, and I think he even had like 8 to 10 pages already drawn of the first issue. And so he gave me 3 issues worth of plots and all the character designs and synopsis. And it was really sort of fun for me to sort of take all these pieces he had given me and sort of disassemble them down to their component parts, and then sort of build them back up again into a more sort of rigid structure based on certain character arcs or certain reveals and surprises. But yeah, in terms of the ideas and the characters, they all came very, very fully formed. And yeah, I think there was only, out of all of them, there was only 1 or 2 subplots that I couldn't quite fit back into the new structure that I had sort of outlined. But as it so happens, these ideas actually go into adventures later on. So we will be revisiting certain ideas and themes that were left on the cutting room floor as a result of our collaboration.
Yeah, that's just going to be issue 2, 3, 500 when you guys get to issue 500, because the world of Ballyskillen has that many has that much rich storytelling that you can talk about.
Yeah, well, we're building a story engine, basically. I always found the best series are building sort of a storytelling machine. It's not necessarily limited to the the point of view of one character. And when I believe Andrew has said, like the main reason he sort of chose the 1980s as a setting is so that we wouldn't have to deal with contemporary technology. Like there's a lot of potential plot holes where you don't have to have someone lose their cell phone or have it drop in a puddle or have it smashed, which you see a lot of, right? But it's also offered us an opportunity. Once you start thinking about this whole world and the timeline of this world, we flash back a few hundred years, for example, to Mr. Babbins in the battle scene, to see sort of his past. But this also gives us an opportunity to flash forward, because it's the 80s. We have let's say 30, 40 years in between now and when this story takes place to explore as well. And part of the compelling nature of what fairies are, and the fair folk and the fae, as we call them, they are very long-lived. They're not immortal, but they live a long, long time. So how does that affect you? How does that affect your human relationships? And I'm very much looking forward to exploring that. We have a taste of it in the issue 5, which is the first time I've sort of taken the full writing reins. And again, based on conversations that Andrew and I had. Andrew, I think, came back from his great-grandmother's house with the mummy hand and all the other sort of fascinating paintings, and he had been reading a book, and we started talking, and I think at one point the topic of banshees came up, and of course for me it's all about the superheroes. I just assumed it was the banshee scream is their main power.
Exactly.
But as Andrew explained to me, the banshee scream is all about them letting out a wail of anguish just before to foretell someone dying. And that just sort of clicked a key in my head, because we have an outstanding plot thread that we sort of leave open after these 4 issues that could very well be addressed by this sort of story device of a banshee, and creating a banshee character. So that was very rewarding to me. Sort of, again, through the back and forth, you kind of get inspired and can create a prologue.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to that, and I love what I'm hearing right now. I got two things. First off, pencils down.
Ah!
There you go.
And
I was like, keep on talking. I need more time.
and second off, Andy, when you're not talking to the mic, do you have a mute button?
Oh, sure. Yeah, sorry.
Because when Sam talks, the echo becomes a bit too much.
Okay.
But especially when Sam gets excited about what he's talking about, which I know. Don't be sorry about being you should be excited, because this is exciting stuff, and I really love to hear about it. But the echo gets in the way a little bit. So
yeah, I think his Rick has really sensitive hearing, so he's
no, I hear it from the chat.
I know. I'm just joking. But let's focus in on what Andy's thrown together here, and I'm gonna solo it right now. And here we go. This is why I'm constantly in awe of whoever is a guest on Let It Out. Look at it. He's done inks already, and I was like, if we gave him like another 5 minutes, he probably would have put color in it as well, and give him another 10 minutes, it's ready to be published as a reward tier.
Give him another give him another 5 minutes, and it was funded.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah,
it's ready to go.
I gotta fix this back. I'm cheating. This should be.
And it looks, and he wasn't. Andy was not kidding when he told me. He said, "I don't do unpolished." But this is. I love his glance where he kind of he's like looking over his shoulders, like, "Yeah, what do you?"
Yeah, but do you not see this shadow? Do you not see this monster shadow, Gerald?
Monster
the forehead. Yeah, the forehead.
Yeah, the claws.
Oh,
you don't see the teeth and the claws.
See, I see it now, and I'm like going, look at that. Here we go. This is another thing that I have not. This is a level I have not achieved with any illustrations that I try and do it, but it's telling a story in the illustration. it's not just a pinup. Here we got.
That could be a cover. That could be a cover right there.
Andrew's already. This is next level on the fly spontaneous drawing illustration here, inked, and you got like some narrative here. He's looking over his shoulder because there's a monster that's implied in the shadow on his back. Yeah. And gosh,
I absolutely loved it. And yeah, are you gonna put that up on your on the fundraiser? If you are, I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah. There you go. Good. Make sure you put it in the collector sock box, because I think that's put that there, but because he's gonna want to see it. You know what? I don't even want to show mine.
You gotta
put my hand on here.
Well, that's just too bad. That's just too bad, because you're gonna.
Okay, well, let's get it over. Okay, I'll just get it over with. So let's I don't know.
I like it.
So this is my whoops, is it blurry there?
Oh, that's
awesome. Yeah, I decided it's I can't. I'm a notorious messy sketcher. I call it the wonky style. So anyway, but I like to capture the whole, like he's the reluctant hero that you talked about, but I kind of want to show him in his happier days. He's kind of like saying, hey, I just want to enjoy my pub. I want to enjoy my beer there. But of course, that's where the drama comes in. And that's what makes good storytelling, because his eyes are opened to the real world of the Ballyskillen, and that's where the story takes place. So anyway, thank you so much.
That was really good. That was really good, Joe. I mean, I think you captured Rory really well.
Well, that's thank you. And I'll send the check to you, Rick, for complimenting me, because he doesn't really compliment me. I had to pay him to make sure that he said something nice
pay me in Augmented Reality sucks.
Okay. Your Ballyskillen thong is in the mail. There we go. All right. So
Andrew had a question for you, Joe.
Yeah, sure. Huh?
I was just gonna say, like, that drawing style is really like sculpturally. You know what I mean? That's when I do a lot of that. Like, if I got a lot more time, like that's, I think it's great. That's usually like just scribble. I'm a huge fan of I like Ron Garney a lot. You check out
Yeah,
any of Ron Garney's
me
roughs
too.
are just like that. Like he doesn't lift the pencil. It's like super sculptor
Yeah,
scratch, and then he'll erase all that, and then you can just ink
uh-huh.
over top of it. So
Mhm.
it looks great.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome.
Thank you so much. You've basically validated my whole wonky look that I've been doing. I just need to learn how to ink like you, and to come up with that narrative, that shadow. Rick picked up on it right away. I guess I was too busy looking at the overall like line details and stuff like that to not even see the deeper story that you had put into it. So kudos to Rick for picking that up. So yeah, and you know what? I forgot to mention. I got so caught up in just the whole story of Ballyskillen and hearing the story from Andy and Sam. Our audience, if you're watching and you want to draw along with us, please feel free to do that. Just make sure you let us know in the comment field that you are drawing along with us. Post it to the Comics Cast Facebook page in the art show, and let us know it's there, and we'll feature it. Because you know what? If you're like me, you're eating up this whole thing. You're just loving what we're doing here. But this is where we get to the another fun aspect of our Let It Out live drawing things. And you can see Rick is already going like this. He's like Dr.
It's my favorite part of the show. It's my favorite part of the show as well.
Yeah, so this is the part where our live drawing number 2. We haven't come up with a better name. Rick, you're gonna have to come up with it. I just call it the Rick Challenge. And the Rick Challenge.
But why? That's the best name there is. Why come up with something different?
I don't know. I figured it need to have like something more catchy, something you could put on a T-shirt or a thong. I don't know. You let me know what that
You can put me on a thong.
No. Okay, I don't even want to go there anymore. But okay. That being said, I'm not gonna. I'll let Rick describe what the Rick Challenge is, and then he's gonna let me and Andy just decide, try and tackle it. So stump us. Let us know what the Rick Challenge is.
So the Rick Challenge is basically either I find a really hard character for you to draw that you're not allowed to see reference, look up reference or anything, or I tell you to, or I give you a challenge like only use your non-dominant hand while you draw a character. And
okay.
So it's basically challenge like that. Or I ask you to mix 2 animals together. I did that with Pat. You remember that?
Yes, you did. I think this is like Rick's fantasy illustration class. He basically
the idea here. I must see most of this idea with these challenges come from a YouTube show, and I just think it's funny because it puts the artist a little up on doing something creative out of the box, right? Yeah. See, Andy loves it. Andy loves it.
And Sam is like going, "Oh gosh, what kind of train wreck are we creating right here?"
I'm into this. Know what? I am into this. I'm all in.
I want to involve you, Sam, actually, because the first part of the challenge is pick a character. So you get to pick the character. It easy. Make it semi-easy for them, because the other part is gonna be the tough part.
No.
Okay.
So Sam, go easy on us.
Say Freakazoid.
No, don't say Freakazoid.
I'm gonna say Tintin.
Who?
Tintin.
Okay.
And you're gonna draw it upside down.
Tintin upside down.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotta draw upside down. Okay, I'm trying to process this. I'm like, Tintin upside down. Okay. Oh, geez.
Andy was just like, oh, just that. All right. I mean, Andy, if you want it harder, you can also just use your non-dominant hand while you do it. If you really want to challenge yourself.
Sure, I'm on it.
Okay.
I'm taking the pull.
Wow, look at this guy. He's doing it like a beast. Wow, I'm impressed. Damn.
Gotta draw it upside. Okay. So do we have to do Tintin doing something, or just draw him upside down? Is there more to it? Okay.
That's Sam. That's up to Sam.
Oh, okay. So Sam.
Totally up to you. Drawer's choice.
I already started. So.
Okay. It's a struggle already. Okay. The clock is ticking. It's 2:20 and I guess 2:40. Let's just keep. I'm trying to remember what Tintin looks like. I'm just trying to Okay. Man, Rick, you got me. I can just go to say that you already got me.
I was asked to stump you, so I did.
Yes, you did.
But look at Andy here. He was like, yeah, upside down. I can do that.
I think
non-dominant hand. You're like, oh, okay, I'll do that as well.
He probably could have said with your toes, and Andy would just like not even break a sweat. He'd like whatever.
Yeah.
Non-dominant foot. Yeah, do that.
Yeah, non-dominant foot.
What I love the most is seeing how, especially with a character like Tintin or Tintin, as the French like to call him, I like to see how an artist handles them in their own style. Because, you know, Hergé has such a sort of distinct look, but it's always wonderful to see how someone else would interpret it in their own way. You could have, you know, the hallmarks of the character in terms of the shape of his nose or his very distinct hair or his clothing, et cetera, et cetera. His dog is very distinctive, but just seeing him render, you know, a little more in a rendered style, for example, or something
He's one of those characters that seems to be different from artist to artist.
Absolutely,
no I can tell you, mine is going to be different because I don't even remember what Tintin looks like.
So that is a challenge in itself for Jarl.
Yeah, if you guys weren't privy to the Freakazoid comment that he made last time, I actually had the pre-show with these guys last night, and I told them about the Rick challenge, and I said, hey, an example of a challenge was I had to draw Freakazoid, and I was thinking they were going to say, who the heck is Freakazoid? And you know what? Both of them said, yeah, I know who Freakazoid is. So I was like,
by Bruce Timm.
I had to turn in.
If you love the Animaniacs, if you love Batman the Animated Series, if you know Tiny Toons, you know Freakazoid.
Animaniacs and all that,
all the same Warner animation team did all of those.
Exactly. But Jarl is too old, I think.
So, Gerald, do you remember the Tintin Steven Spielberg animated? So you at least know he has very distinct hair. And he has sort of a very, very distinct nose and Orphan Annie eyes. Does Tintin have Orphan Annie eyes?
Yeah, you're giving me kind of hints, and I'm trying to recall it because my understanding of Tintin is the recent animated movie, and even that wasn't really that. I mean, it wasn't, you know, like last year. I watched it like years ago, and so I'm like trying to remember, you know, what makes him so distinctive. And you know,
sorry, I didn't mean Orphan Annie eyes. Just a very sort of simple. Anyways,
right. So I'm trying to remember, but but I did like this. It was when I remember about Tintin, the CG movie that came out. Was that, I think it was the moped scene where it was it was like a continuous take, and it was like this camera. You know, obviously it's CG animation, so it's not as impressive.
Through the city, down the hill, down the
stairs. Right, and it's not as impressive as like the continuous shot like they did with Netflix Daredevil, where he has that fight scene and it's just one take. You know, or it looks like one take. Or like what was that?
Touch of Evil, the opening of Touch of Evil, one of the most famous one take scenes ever.
Exactly.
Guys, I'll just have you to notice that Andy is more focused than I've ever seen him.
Well,
I love it. I love it.
But I do remember that sequence because I remember being so impressed with it. And of course, you know, Tintin. I remember seeing the art, like, you know, from the, you know, seeing the comic style, and you know, it's very flat. You know, it's very. And then to see the CG movie where they took Tintin, and he still has that charm of his flat, you know, the flat look, but they've made it 3D, and it was. I remember watching it and being very amazed that this was, you know, a pulp comic style character that was brought. It's still the same time period, but you know, they made it 3D, and I thought that was like a perfect love letter to, I think, that type of character and the time, and still modernizing it.
It's like the recent CG Peanuts movie. I was very pleasantly surprised that they sort of honored the original cartoon look. Yeah,
I mean, even to your point, even though they tried to honor the original Tintin, there was still something off about him, right?
There was a little uncanny valley, just a little bit.
If we really need to be really perfectionist and really critique, it didn't capture it 100%, in my opinion. The comic book look, but that's what you said. Tintin is that kind of character that you just can't copy 100% from the original look.
Yeah, no, Harrogate had his very distinct style, and I guess his studio that sort of was churning out Tintin comics back in the day. They all had this very house style, but once you sort of hand it over to anyone else to interpret, I think there's been art exhibitions where they've given it over to artists to sort of interpret it, and I always love those art books showcasing different interpretations of Tintin.
I'm a fan of that too. Yeah, go ahead.
Another European characters that does the same, that I think has the same ability, where people can copy them exactly the same, is Asterix and Obelix.
Oh, absolutely.
Even though Obelix is such an easy character when it comes to shape and design, nobody really makes him look as good as the original does.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a big fan of both. I always have been since I grew up, because they were easy to come by when I was a little kid.
For me, they were the comics that were allowed, because essentially, after a certain time, especially once I was going to school, I wasn't allowed to read sort of the traditional comics. But if I could take it out from the library, I was allowed to read it. So here in Canada, most libraries carry, when I was a kid, Tintin and Asterix books. So I just devoured those.
Our libraries is filled with them as well.
I totally missed out on that. My library did not have any of those things, so I feel like I was left out of the club.
Do you even know what a library is? Right.
There we go. Yes, I do. Hey, do you know what the Dewey Decimal System is? How about that? Dewey Decimal. Yeah, I'm throwing down.
That must be some American stupid thing, right?
Oh, shoot. Okay. Apparently in Denmark, they don't have any way of organizing books. They just throw them on the shelves and expect you to find them. That's
in a library, really?
Yeah, of course. I mean, of course. Why not? If people want their books, they can go and find them themselves. It's in
it's an adventure.
It's in that clutter over there to the right.
That's
all of you know.
So your libraries are just unsorted shelves in Denmark?
No, it's not.
No.
Just a big trough of books that you randomly pull out. And
we just
darn! I didn't want a Stephen King today. I guess I'll have to read this Stephen King because I pulled it out randomly.
You'll read Stephen King and you'll love it.
I think that apparently Mr. Dewey did not come to Denmark. They have I'm trying to think of a witty Danish name.
Did, but
he did.
It was he did, but we sent him back because he was stupid.
We sent him back, and it was. In fact, they got it was one of Rick's descendants. He's taking offense to this because it was one of Rick's descendants that came up with the organizational system of libraries, and that's. Rick is the fourth, and it was like the first generation Rick that came up with the equivalent of the Dewey Decimal System.
Rick.
So he came up with a way, and that's how Rick discovered all sorts of wonderful books, because they were just on a random shelf on a random a shelf or a table, and he said, "Oh, this looks like Tintin. It looks like fun. I think I'll read it." And but anyway. I think we were talking about other types of really cool, I think retro style subject matters. I liked Astro Boy. Do you remember Astro Boy?
Sure.
I love Astro Boy, and it was really cool when other artists would do it. And then I think recently I've been seeing a lot of people that would do. I forgot what the name of the pop artist that's out there, but he came up with this new trend where he would take The Simpsons, he would take Astro Boy, and he would basically do a cutaway where they would show the fake.
Yes.
Do you remember the artist's name?
Yeah, with the is it Cause?
The anatomy.
Is it?
Yes, I think that's him.
You see the cutaway of the bones.
You see, and it's almost a little freaky, but it's like you want to just look at it because it would show their skull or their eyeball or their heart, and it'd be this cutaway. And what I saw about what they did with Astro Boy, they did the same thing, except it was the mechanicals. Astro Boy, he's an android, so they would show his asteroid, and they make him 3D looking. But when they cut away, they would show the mechanical part underneath him. And I thought that was just really brilliant. So if we hadn't done Tintin, Astro Boy would have been really cool too. Not that I remember exactly.
I would have been right behind Astro Boy. I grew up with Astro Boy, so
yeah.
I think why Sam said Tintin is because I put it in his head earlier when we talked a little about
European comics. Yeah.
So I think I put it in your head.
Well, also, a sort of two-part thing. I didn't want to stump them too hard, and they did seem to know, but it's not such a familiar thing that they would have drawn it before.
Yeah, exactly. It was a good choice. I liked it.
I haven't drawn it at all, so that's the thing.
No, and that's why Gerald tries to talk his way out of it by not doing art, so he would rather speak.
Yes, I know.
But you got 5 more minutes or so. I'll give you 5 more minutes to be nice.
Okay.
So, do they call them bande dessinée in Denmark? What's the name for European comics in Denmark? Is it bande dessinée like it is in France?
No, we call it tegneserie.
Oh, okay. And what are your some of your recommendations for European comics?
Well,
I'm always looking for suggestions.
Well,
put Rick on the spot.
Tintin Asterix is the most. I mean, I don't.
You probably grew up with Lucky Luke.
The problem is I don't know the American names.
Oh, I see. But you've grown up with Mobius, I'm assuming, as well, and
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, the Phantom is American already, but that was highly popular in Europe as well.
Yeah, I understand there was a comic that was unique in terms of Danish artists that did it.
No, I think that was Sweden, but
yeah. Oh, was it Sweden? Okay.
Where
and they even colored the suit like red or something like that too. Or maybe
that was in another country. In Sweden, it was either. I think the original is purple, right?
Purple, yeah.
Yeah, they made it blue.
Okay, yes.
And there was also a red one.
Wow, it sounds like you're talking about Power Rangers. It's like, was there a purple one? Was there a pink one?
Don't you dare make fun of the Phantom like that.
Hey, well, Power Rangers are the real deal too. That was a compliment.
But yeah, I mean, the Phantom was actually. I think the Phantom is one of the comics that has jumped around the world the most, because right now it's in Australia, right?
Yeah, it's very popular in I believe New Zealand and Australia, and maybe even India. Like
one of my good friends did a cover for them in Australia some years back.
Oh wow!
So
yeah, I had a couple of friends who actually produced a Phantom action figure, and what they did was they put out variants. They had, I think the olive green, the red. There was a gray, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I always been a Phantom guy now. For the longest time, I actually thought he was European, but there you go.
That was called a American comic appropriation. You were just stealing some America property there, thinking that he was automatically European.
Can I mute you, Gerald? Can I mute you from here?
Did the Billy Zane movie do well in Denmark then?
Which one?
The Billy Zane, Kristen Swanson movie from the 90s, the Phantom Punch Evil?
No.
Oh, okay.
We had one movie with the Phantom, and it didn't do well because in Europe, or at least in Denmark, the comic book was really frowned upon. It's really frowned upon reading comics.
Oh, okay.
We have one comic book store. One.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it wasn't a big. So I didn't even get a lot of comics when I was a kid.
Wait, did you say you were reading comics in the library though, weren't you? No comic shops, but there were comics in the library.
European comics, yeah, but not American.
I see, gotcha.
So first like last 10 to 15 years I've gotten into American comics. So guess all the things I had to read up on.
Now, are you reading them in English, or are they translated into Danish?
I read them in English. I know that I suck at speaking it, but I can read it, Sam. I can read it. Thank you for that little Wow. That hurt. I saw that little low blow. That wasn't fair. We were sat here having a good time, Sam, a damn good time, and then what the hell?
I'm just trying to be Canadian here.
No, I'm gonna scroll up. Let me.
Time is up, by the way.
Oh wait. Oh, now he's just being mean to me because I want to find. Okay, well, let me find this comment that I laughed at it, but I didn't post it. Let me find it. Okay, here we were talking about socks, right? So,
yeah.
This is a comment. Don't ruin it for me because we were talking about socks, right? And this is from Joe Tolliver, who's my partner in crime, co-founder of Comics Cast, and this is what he said. He said, "I thought Rick kept saying buy it because it sucks." And it was like, no, he's saying buy it because it sucks.
Because of the socks, not because
of the socks. Because of the socks. So, but you know what? I think I think I heard it from Rick, but I just went ahead and it's like autocorrection in my head. I've gotten used to hearing how Rick talks, and if I were to try and speak, Danish,
can I leave, Gerald?
He would kill me. He would say, "Oh, you just mispronounced everything." But
so how
anyway,
does a Dane and an American become this sort of mismatched buddy team?
Well, that's a longer story, but it basically started out with we are both in the same huge comic book artist group where we started meeting. I did some I'm a moderator, and I did some critiques on his stuff, and then we started talking.
Oh, okay.
And then I started doing podcasts one place. He started doing these TV streams. I stopped doing the podcasts. That's a place. And he said there was room here. And I thought, okay, I can do more. I like doing this. And he invited me to join here.
Yeah, well, Rick couldn't pass up the opportunity to do constant digs on moi. Give an opportunity to like totally take Gerald down a notch every opportunity. But I love Rick. Rick is like he's definitely somebody who's kept me on my toes and made sure we adhere to the clock. And he definitely adds a humorous aspect that I could never do because Rick is just one of a kind. But let's go back into the live art because it was pencils down. Yeah.
Even though people don't understand me, they still like me.
They do. Absolutely, I agree.
I know it's just fun, Joe. Don't worry, I'm having fun as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here let's isolate it.
Rick's charm is definitely infectious.
Infectious. That is the great word, infectious. But here
like
this was. Yeah, I didn't say COVID. I did not say COVID.
Andy, I love it. This was actually...
Let's hope my arm doesn't get cut off.
Andy, I don't think this challenge counts for you because I said it doesn't work if you're ambidextrous, though.
Definitely not. Look at this.
It looks great.
It looks like the train looks like it's falling over. Look.
Oh, but this is
I like it.
I do. I like how you went ahead. You've done inks and you did an environment, you did background, and you did props, and then you put his dog in there too. I kind of like copped out. I did the most easy one because I was just struggling to remember who Tintin was. So let me show mine real quick. And oops.
That was me trying to help.
Oh, that's great.
You know what? Now that I flipped him upside down,
you got the hair, you got the nose.
He looks like Asian Tintin.
No, that's terrific, dude.
He reminds me of some other character as well. Who is it?
Dagwood. Blondie. He looks a little like Dagwood from Blondie.
He does. Yeah. But I think this is the I'm going to say this is the Asian interpretation of Tintin. So if he had a doppelganger from the
manga
East,
Tintin, manhwa Tintin.
Yes, exactly.
Tintin.
And he would be called 1010 instead of Tintin. But yeah. Yeah. So Rick, great challenge. I think that you definitely kept me on my toes. And Sam, thank you for bringing that little bit of nostalgia back to us, and we got to learn that the Dewey Decimal System does not exist in in Denmark. So that's going to be a
They
tricky
just
question.
pick their books out of a trough at random.
So that's funny like that. All right. So I don't know if I looked at the chat section. Doesn't look like anybody, unfortunately, didn't get to draw along with us.
Wait,
but you know what?
Justin Acosta did a quick reference sketch.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Did you pass it on to
yeah, Justin, if you did do it, send it to my Facebook chat that I have with you. That way I don't have to find it on ComicsCast, and I will pull it up and share it with everybody. So if you want to do that.
And what's Rick's Facebook comics creators group?
Oh, that's not mine, but I'll that's How to Draw Comics.
Okay.
It's what's it called?
Yeah, How to Draw Comics.
We are around 60,000 members. Not all of them are, of course, comic book artists, but there's a lot there, and it's a good way to get better, improve, or even get your name out.
Yeah, it's a great site. I highly recommend it. It's a Facebook group called How to Draw Comics. In fact, that's how I met Rick, and a lot of even Joe Tolliver, my partner. If anything, that you could say that was the nexus point where I met a lot of creators and guests that have been on the show. But they definitely are a more instructional. It's like their thing is How to Draw Comics, where ComicsCast is more about promoting the independent creators. Whether they're writers,
they're new. Yeah.
Whether they're writers, artists, etc. Yeah.
Is there a ComicsCast Facebook group as well?
Yes, there is. In fact, if you want to follow us, we have it's Indie Comics Cast on YouTube, and ComicsCast itself has we have our own Facebook page. That's the one where I promoted you, and I sent you that, or promoted your appearance. And Let It Out is just one of our live shows, of course. And then we have the thing called the Art Show, which is basically our artist component, where we have a community there. Nothing nearly on the scale as How to Draw Comics, but we would love to get the 60,000 members. That would be really cool. But go check it out, and definitely check out ComicsCast as well. But as we go into
Carol.
Oh, it's definitely not a competition. It's nothing but love. We want How to Draw Comics is also about promoting a lot of independent creators as well. It's just that we want to focus on showcasing, our guests and being able to have this type of video dialogue where we can just basically gush over fantastic creations that you guys are doing. So let's go into challenge live drawing number 3. And Rick, could you do me?
And that's gonna be 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Oh, we have a little more than that.
Okay.
Look, Andy didn't blink. He said, "Oh, 10 minutes." I could do it.
No, Daryl, you told me to try and keep the time. So I'm keeping
the
time.
you did. Okay. So, Rick, can you call up
I am. Will you just wait? See, I got it.
Okay. Well, there you go. So,
I'm a pro, Daryl.
You are a pro. Definitely a pro at something. I won't go there.
I'm trying to find out what it is.
Yes, exactly. So as we go into live drawing number 3, we're doing Johnny the Leprechaun, who's trying to break all the stereotypes of 80s era leprechauns. He does fix shoes, but he just doesn't do them very well. and I think you mentioned. I'll let you guys. We're gonna draw Johnny right now, and I'll let Rick and Sam go ahead and talk about Johnny.
Well, when you think about it, basically we live in the world of disposable footwear now. Seasonal, fashion-driven disposable footwear. So Leprechaun really doesn't have a job anymore. So he's sort of taken a job at the pub to help make ends meet. We're also sort of dispelling a lot of the misconceptions and myths. Leprechauns don't actually wear green. They traditionally wear red. And he is definitely a fan favorite character so far. Everyone sort of always latches on to the punk rock leprechaun aspect.
Well, he does have that inviting face to him. He's really kind and inviting to look at.
Well, this is sort of the contrast in humanity. As you get to know him, you kind of learn exactly how sweet a character. You can't help but love Johnny in his earnestness, despite being sort of 70s, 80s era punk at heart.
Oh, no. So you're saying that people that are 80s and 90s punk at heart shouldn't be loved?
Sorry.
Are you saying that people?
Well, you were mentioning earlier his surly sort of exterior look sort of belies a heart of gold. Like out of everyone, if you're looking for the pot of gold, it's not actually a physical pot of gold. It's in Johnny's heart.
And deep. That's so deep.
And actually, the fun part of Johnny and Rory and Clive is writing this trio, the sort of complex friendship that three close friends have, and there's sort of very distinct power dynamics between these three, and particularly as that sort of shifts once Rory realizes that they're not quite who he thought they were, and that he sort of sees them as they truly are. And in some ways, they do have a lot of fun with that fact that, Rory can be in their confidence, and they can be a little more free with who they really are instead of hiding that fact.
I mean, it must be some kind of feeling of freedom when you find out that, hey, I'm allowed to be myself in front of a person. We all know that from everyday life, when we don't have to put up some mask or facade for a person and just be who we are. And so you bring that feeling and put it into these people that's trying to hide from not showing that they are trolls, goblins, fairies, pukas, and Americans. So it's good that they don't have to hide in front of Rory anymore.
Yeah,
the other thing is
we definitely hide.
The other thing I'm really enjoying, actually, as we were saying, the other characters came very, very sort of fully fleshed out, and Clive, the puka, the shape-shifting blue rabbit. There was a little bit more room for me to sort of insert my own. So this is the joy we talked in terms of collaboration. You sort of find those places where you can really sort of expand your own sensibilities, and I found that in the character of Clive. Especially, I really enjoyed injecting a lot of humor. He's a bit of a comedy relief character in that he. We're taking sort of the trickster archetype, and he's actually not very good at it. So, and he's quite sarcastic.
Kind of like Gerald.
There you go.
Are you telling me I'm a blue rabbit who's not good at drawing? That's basically
no. I'm saying you're not good at being funny.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay.
But yeah, in the character, in the whole character. Part of your campaign here, it also, the first thing it says is he's filled with sarcasm and cynicism, and that's basically Clive.
Well, that's basically Rick.
Yeah,
but this is the great thing about sort of the contrasting personalities, right? You have Johnny, who actually is a very sort of earnest character, and you have Clive, who's very sarcastic, and Rory, who's sort of navigating his friendship between these two characters as they need to go solve this mystery of missing children. You present moments. There's a moment in I think issue 2 or 3 that my only goal in that was to try to get Andrew to laugh out loud when he came across the script, just because I wanted to sort of things do tend to get dark. They are hunting a killer in their midst in the community, so you do want to paint with all the colors of emotion that you have available to you. So for me, once things get a little too dark and a little too serious, often it's Clive who comes in and inadvertently lightens the moment. He's not meaning to, but he can't help but sort of wreck a moment, whether it's sort of an earnest moment or a nice moment, or he's a little bit like a bull in a china shop, and sometimes can literally become a bull in a china shop.
So yeah, just quickly to Death Famison. This is the character they're currently drawing. He's called Johnny. He's from the campaign BALLYSKILLEN.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
And then if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see the blue rabbit. Or sorry, scroll up a little bit. There we go. That's Clive.
Clive, this the rabbit we talked about.
And I can also tell you the secret origin of why he is a large rabbit. I don't
go ahead, do so.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with the. As a kid, I was really obsessed with this classic Jimmy Stewart movie called Harvey, and Jimmy Stewart plays a drunk, basically, who wanders around town introducing people to his friend, an invisible 6-foot rabbit. And often it's very much in question whether this rabbit is real or not. And because Jimmy Stewart is a drunk and always hanging out in bars and stuff, this sort of tied in nicely. So just the picture for me of having a 6-foot rabbit hanging out in a pub, having a drink and smoking a cigar, really amused me. So
yeah, again, I like the idea that you're taking ideas for some place that's really so far out that nobody would think of. Hey, that's where he got that idea from. You're really going that extra step to make sure that it needs a little extra thinking to, like, hey, like with Clive here at least, and other places as well. I've also seen you there, like the Jaws, the quick Jaws reference. I like all the small references, but they're not 100% obvious.
Mm-hmm. And well, in the movie Harvey, there's a small moment where Jimmy Stewart mentions, like, just mentions that Harvey is a puka, and so it references this sort of mysterious.
I actually think
character.
I've seen it, but I can't really remember. But it makes. I see faint pictures in my head when you're talking about it.
It is a very sort of dated movie, obviously. Uncle Elwood is constantly foiling his sister and niece's plots to get to help the niece find a man so she can finally get married and not die an old maid.
5 more minutes, guys. 5 more minutes, guys.
It doesn't always hold the test of time, but it is sort of a delightful performance in terms of the pantomime that Jimmy Stewart goes through, and in making you believe that he's hanging out with a 6-foot invisible rabbit.
When you mentioned this rabbit, I was thinking of Donnie Darko. Do you guys remember
Donnie Darko is a huge reference in its own way to Harvey.
Oh, okay. So mission accomplished. I got that. But yeah, go ahead, Rick.
I was about to say something. I mentioned Donnie Darko as well when they said rabbit. Donnie Darko is one of my all-time favorite movies.
Oh, it's wonderful. Didn't do too well at the box office when it first came out. I would love to see it on the big screen, but I've seen it a number of times on video back in the day, DVD.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. I mean, I really was. I love everything about it. Really, the emotional ride you go through the whole movie,
and the circular storytelling is wonderful as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's really good. I always thought, like, I wanted to do something similar with a comic, like the same circular storytelling as they mastered in that movie, but it's always just been so, like, in my head, because I don't have the story for it. I don't have the story idea for it and how to do it even. I just could imagine how awesome it would be.
Mm-hmm. Well, the great thing is these sort of exist as templates. So in terms of breaking Donnie Darko down into a circular element, and then coming up with a set of characters that would sort of fit that template. For me, I don't know if you're a fan of Rick and Morty, Rick?
Yeah.
You watch Rick and Morty?
Nah, I don't watch it, but I've seen a little here. I've seen a little here and there.
The new tool that's really helped me in the last year or two, Dan Harmon, the creator of Rick and Morty, has something called the Story Circle, and folks can kind of Google this. But for me, being I mentioned Joseph Campbell earlier, and for me that's always been a little bit of a true north. But the complexity, and also it falls into formula often. You know, Star Wars, for example, falls perfectly into that. And so how do you sort of subvert that formula? And Dan Harmon's Story Circle breaks it down into its component parts and helps you avoid those cliches. So
nice.
yeah, we introduce a mentor character in the form of Mr. Babbins, but by imposing the Story Circle not only on the greater narrative, but on each of these characters in terms of you know, what activates a need or a want in this character, what lengths will this character go to, what cost will it cost them, what's the unexpected result, you know, just following this normal changes normal approach to it has been a real breakthrough for me, writing wise.
Well,
Wow,
that's a great thing when you come out of a thing like this, knowing more than you did when you came in, like, or at least understanding the process more. And that circle thing, I was about to call it a circle jerk, but it's a PG show, but yeah, that's I should write that down, because I want to read more about it for sure.
Yeah, and there's
really
great YouTube videos that sort of break it down in terms of how, and actually he's Dan Harmon himself has made fun of his own process. There is in fact a circular train episode in the last season of Rick and Morty where he's just making fun of his own process.
Rick and Morty circle jerk.
No one knew how deep Rick and Morty really is. I think people will look back, you know, years from now and realize what literary genius was in Rick and Morty, and maybe they'll talk about, hey, there was theories of the space-time continuum and quantum theory that were all proposed there in Rick and Morty. But so how much time do we have left, timekeeper?
1 minute.
1 minute. 1 minute. Okay.
And I think we were talking earlier, it's in terms of often I am sort of coming in collaboration, but you also do have a lot of ideas you want to pursue yourself. And I think the most important thing is just finding the right fit. So I do often put aside, like, you know, springboard story ideas, outlines that don't get into sort of specifics. And when the time comes and an artist comes to me and says, hey, you want to work on something? I have a little bit of time. I have time for maybe an 8-pager or a 12-pager. What do you think? Often I'll just go into my hard drive, and it's like, okay, what is this person's strengths, whatever, and go through my different idea files and pitches to pull out something to just sort of hand over almost right away. And then you can start a conversation that way in terms of...
It must also help that the more you collaborate with other people, the bigger chances you have to find, if you have that really passionate story you really want out. The more you collaborate with other artists, the bigger the chance are for you to find the absolute perfect one for you to draw that story, to draw your story.
Absolutely, too many people are just you know, that sense of desperation in terms of hey, can you work with me on this, and that's not really how to collaborate with someone. It's finding the right thing for both of you. You know, it's feeling out beforehand. More often than not, I will really want to work on a short with someone just to see if the chemistry is right, if we're vibing, if we get along, if we and the other thing is figuring out, because I really like working from full script, but if someone says,
pencils down, guys, sorry,
no worries, hey, pencils down.
Yeah, pencils down. Andy, stop. Andy, I'm gonna spray you with water.
Like a kitten.
Go ahead, keep on talking. Ignore Andy and I. Andy, keep on going.
No, it's all good. But yeah, my advice to everyone out there who want to create their own comics is everyone has this multi issue, 100-issue epic or a 3-volume graphic novel, but you can't run a marathon right off the bat. You gotta work up to it, right? So especially if you're doing it collaboratively, do something 2 pages. Prove you can tell a strong beginning, middle, and end in 2 pages, 4 pages, 5 pages, 8 pages, and work up from there. And Andrew and I, as we were saying, did this 8-pager that worked out beautifully, and as a result, that's how BALLYSKILLEN came about.
Well, I think this is a thing that I'm going to say. I'm going
Really
to
great
throw
points,
some. Let me throw some praise Sam's way. Sam also, since he has a art background already, he's a great artist. So he brings not only his writing credibility to it, but he knows what good art is because he's an artist himself. So I think that shows that I had this vision when you were describing how you have like this hard drive filled with like potential storylines. I was thinking, so Sam is like the Batman. He has a file. He has like a story file and he can sort of say, you know what, this artist would be really good with this story, and this story would be good with this artist. And he's like the tactician, Batman there in his Batcave with all these great stories. So that's where I'm gonna see Sam as the Bat. Sam is the Batman, and he has all these great stories that are just
so
really
Andy.
cool.
So are you
too
calling
kind.
Andy? So are you calling Andy for Robin? Is that
No,
it?
in this relationship, Andrew is definitely the Batman, and I'm definitely the Robin. I will fully admit this.
I was gonna say that Andy's the Superman and you're the Batman. There you go.
All right, I'll accept that.
And then, of course, I'm gonna say that there's gonna be to complete the Trinity. I'm gonna give a shout out to Andy's girlfriend, who is the Wonder Woman in the Trinity. Just so you know that it is Irish folklore. So they told me yesterday when we were doing our pre-show that Andy's girlfriend, she translated all the BALLYSKILLEN storyline, right? Is that correct, Andy?
Yeah, she basically is the script consultant. Yeah. So yeah.
So
yeah, she does. She goes through the dialogue to make sure it's legit.
I like that is stuff, proper. I'm doing that for 2 different comics right now. That's based on Northern mythology, and so I really like when people make sure that they do things right and they don't just pop things out of their head. Like it seems like it's close to working.
It's 100% authentic. That's what I want to say. So let's
in Ireland to read the dialogue as authentic. So
yeah, and that just adds another level of realism and just making that your world building is legit. It has roots in things, and I think that's what makes good storytelling is that you got to establish the rules, the rules for that world, and that makes people get invested in it because they understand, they can empathize with the characters and just know, that's how you develop the world that they live in. And that adds that touch of authenticity, especially if you are from Ireland. I'm sure you can kind of like definitely be able to pick up on those little things that can be nuanced approaches that only somebody who translates it or has experienced it and can draw it and realize it would ever really truly appreciate. And those of us who haven't, we can experience it and be be more attuned to it. But let's look at the artwork here. Let me isolate. Let's go to full screen here. Look at this. That's like, there you go. I don't have words for this. He's again, aside from the composition, you're inking it already, and this is telling a story. This is punk rock 80s style or Leprechaun 80s style. It's like just, and you got to put that pint that's being shook off the amplifier. Just these little touches. Rick, what do you think about this?
I really like it a lot. I mean, it helps show his character in a different setting than we've seen so far, and I really love it.
Yeah, oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it's loose inks, of course. I'm just going quick as fast as possible, but
loose inks. Your loose inks don't look as good as heck. I don't even ink, so I'm not even gonna venture into that territory because that's what I love about your compositions is the ink. So your loose inks are just great.
There's also a certain energy you get when you work things quickly. Yes. This is why, in terms of thumbnails, when people do their thumbnails for their pages in a smaller format and just do it fairly quickly. Often it's very difficult once they blow it up and start overworking it. Sometimes it does lose its energy. So there's always sort of a push and pull of someone's thumbnails to sort of recapture that energy of the initial drawing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You have to find that balance between capturing the gesture, capturing the energy, but not over rendering it. And that's what I'm seeing these pages from BALLYSKILLEN. They're not over rendered. They're just enough to get that visual communication out there. And of course, you brought in the golden rule. You talked about color theory. That's why it works. It looks so appealing to me aesthetically. It's just really, really nice.
Sure.
Yeah. So let's keep on going. I don't want to show my artwork.
Come on,
let's have a look at
that. You're doing this every damn time.
I know, because I don't want to, because just look at this. I want to put a guitar in mine. Can you give me another 10 minutes? I want to put some guitar.
No, we don't have 10 minutes.
Here we go. So let me show this real quick. So
see,
I decided to go for the punk rock attitude.
Great.
But
I like that you made it a more like leprechaun proportions as well than as how many people see leprechauns to be of proportions like the green normal one. I really like that.
Yeah, that's good.
There's a little bit of foreshortening in there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just love his attitude. Like all the art that you showed. I wanted to have like time to put in a big boombox there in the background. The guitar. Cool. When I saw you put the guitar in there, and he's like going into that whole riff, and then it's causing such a sound resonance that it's causing the pint to like come off the amplifier. I was like, wow, why didn't I think of that? But just really, really good. I mean, I love it when I can kind of get a glimpse in terms of our guests' original characters and their IPs, their intellectual properties, and it's an honor to just do a spin on it. And then I always have to go back and watch it because I don't get to see the artist realize their stuff because I'm concentrating on drawing. So I had to go back and watch it, and just seeing what happens at the end when I look up and see what when Rick calls pencils down, I look at what you guys do, and it's just incredible. And I hope our audience got to see that same greatness that we got to see from Andy's artwork that was done live. We got to hear Sam talk about his relationship with Andy and their storytelling and their unique relationship. So
and we wanted to thank you for drawing our character. Like I always loved seeing other people's interpretation of them, because we have, for example, our friend Shane and studio mate Shane did that variant cover, but our other friend Jason also did a pinup on the Kickstarter of Clive. So it's really neat to see through the filter of different artists.
Well, I tell you, you're gonna once this Kickstarter is over, you're gonna have lots of fans. And you know what I'm gonna tell? I'm gonna do some more fan art a little later on. I'm gonna share it with you guys. But
I'm a big fan from what I've seen, and I can't wait to get my socks.
And he said socks, just to be clear, he said socks. But as we're gonna wrap this up a little bit. Anybody who maybe who deaf, Justin, if you guys drew along with us, let us know. Just write in the chat that you did draw, and we'll be more than happy to share that. While we're waiting to see if anybody drew along with us, let's do one more recap of their.
One thing we haven't seen yet is the example of the augmented reality.
Let's go back to the Kickstarter page, and I think with the example that the video that you had shown before, I think there's a second video that I sent you a link to.
I already got that up and ready to show it. Yeah, well, I'm way ahead of you.
Okay, well, I'm just saying that we can't really demo the augmented reality per se, because it requires you using the phone in front of it and then us capturing it. So I'm just gonna have to say that we could show the video and ask people to. I think Sam mentioned that you can actually download. You can take your phone and look at the graphic. I think
on another screen. So take your phone, put it up to the computer screen or tablet or whatever, and see it for yourself. But there is a video that shows the phone over a image.
Yes, and that's how you would do it. So unfortunately we can't really demo that part because we have our art cam set up. But I encourage people to look at the artwork, just look, take your phone, use an an augmented reality app to
go to the
see.
site. Go to the site and see for yourself the examples.
Yeah. It's all there, yeah.
Yeah. So let's pull up their Kickstarter page one more time, Rick, and let's do one more rehash of what's there, and because we want people to go there, and you see the link at the bottom in the
shut
scroller.
down Facebook because you said it didn't matter anyways.
What was that?
I just shut down Facebook again because you said it didn't matter anyways.
Well, it's not on Facebook. It's your Chrome tab. Call up the Chrome tab, right?
I need the link in Facebook. Just put it there.
All right. So please bear with me, my studio audience, while Rick deals with his computer issues.
Well, we should give a shout out to Andrew's girlfriend again, Lisa, because she also contributed a print, art for a print.
She's an artist. She's an artist too. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what, Rick? I'm gonna save the day. I'm gonna call up the Chrome tab with BALLYSKILLEN.
Oh, look at you taking all the woo!
Yeah, look at that. When you get your Facebook thing, master of social media that you are, you can take this responsibility away from me. But
here's the other thing. We're also beta testing the new Kickstarter add-on feature. So once you choose your tier, a shopping cart pops up with a whole list of different things you can sort of add to the shopping cart.
Oh yeah, I know that. I noticed that when I was in and getting my socks.
Yeah. In terms of if you want to mix and match. And the other thing, we've had a really good time playing with the add-on feature. There's an Easter egg hunt. Basically, Andrew has done a lot of daily Inktober sketches that we've put into the add-on feature secretly and shown over social media. So folks can, when they see it on social media or just return to the site, and go to the add-on section on a daily basis, they can find new, inexpensive original art to add on.
That is so cool. But I wanted to stop here because for our audience to get an idea of how the augmented reality works, this is a good illustration to show how you would demo it. So you get the app that allows you to read augmented reality enhanced imagery. And you basically use your phone and you would download a page just to preview it. But of course, if you buy the issue itself, you can do this. And basically it's just you look at the artwork through the lens of your camera or your camera phone, and it'll initialize the augmented reality, and then you can see these additional animations, these the secret artwork. And it like I said, it's not a gimmick. It's an enhancement. It allows you to actually see BALLYSKILLEN through the eyes of Rory. It allows you to be that person who is in Rory's shoes, and how he's going to be that lens that sees the whole story develop. But let me, is there an example?
So these 3 pages are examples. So if you download the app, you can put them on any of these 3 images and see how it works. And the terrific thing is, at our point in funding, about half the book is augmented reality enhanced, and every $500 we add to that, we're going to add more augmentation, and we're about, I think, $100 shy of the other add-on. Andrew, do you want to tell them about the monster manual?
Sure. So it's 6,000.
Wait. I just paid $99, so I think you're $1 shy.
Socks.
Thank you very much, Rick, for putting us over the top. We appreciate it.
Oh, that's awesome. But go ahead, talk about monsters.
Sure. So $1 away. I'm adding there will be a button when you hold up the app. It'll be in the bottom left-hand corner when the video is playing, and you click on the button, and then it'll pop up like an old D&D monster manual. So any monsters that are on the page that you're looking at, you'll be able to slide through and flip through and get all the back history of them and their power levels. I think I'm going to put it on there. And just extra. It's like the encyclopedia, right? You get all the info for anything that's on the screen or on the.
It's like a interactive bestiary,
exactly.
And for example, if we saw this page, if we wanted to know what this horse character was in the background, you'd be able to, if there was a bestiary profile for this monster, there would be an icon in the corner. If you get to that stretch, if that stretch goal gets unlocked, you would have that enhancement where you would be able to find the backstory of this particular Irish folklore creature that's in the Ballyskillen universe, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Pokédex.
Never thought about that. That is so cool. I'm trying to think. Is that add-on
A skill index. A Ballydex.
there you go. Yes. I guess he'll like send over the he's gonna send you the copyright thing where he can be a contributor to the Bally. He wants to be a partner there. But we have some reward tiers here. You were talking about
you can see the dancing Clive there, by the way. You just passed it.
Oh, the dancing. Oh, here it is. Yes.
Yeah. So you can see we have a T-shirt, we have a mask, the socks. Actually, the face masks are really cool too. You can just get a face mask with the dancing Clive, and you put your phone up to it, and it'll start dancing on your friend's face or your face.
I am so serious that when you guys are going to be super successful, because I know you are, that you're going to have like these cartoon opportunities, and you already have it. You have your accomplished animator here. I love this whole dancing rabbit thing. Bugs Bunny got nothing on Clive. I got that there.
And 2D animation is such a lost art these days. Everything's 3D, so it's just so great to see Andrew working in traditional 2D animation.
Yeah, it's charming. There's a charm that's lost on. I love 3D computer generated animation, but something about cell shaded or individually hand drawn stills and cells for traditional animation. Just something about it. Well, maybe it's because, like Rick would say, I'm an old guy, so I appreciate the old school stuff. But yeah, this is just really cool. These are all the different pledge categories that you can do, and like they said, they are beta testing an add-on program. Oh, socks. He's saying socks again. So you can definitely go for the big thing here, which is $99. Get the socks, because didn't you say that the socks have front and back augmented reality? So
yeah, two different. Yeah.
So
front and back. What?
And the collector's box has two sides of augmented reality as well, and that's exclusive to that set.
Oh,
wow!
And you get original art as well.
Yeah. So this is the tier to get. $99 will get you all of that. So this is what makes it so unique. I just love it, and it's not a gimmick. It's a storytelling element that you can get. You can read the story and get the experience, but it's an enhanced experience. You get to see more, and I love. Yeah, go ahead.
I got one more cool little thing. We discovered this by accident, actually. But if you buy any of the original art pages, it actually detects just the inks. So if you hang it on your wall, it will actually still activate at 11 by 17 size on your wall in your house. So that's another bonus if you buy any of the original art.
Shoot! So buy the original art, because then when you frame it and put it on your wall, not only can you look at the comic on your tabletop, you can be lying on your bed, look at the wall that you have framed, hanging there, and you can still experience
the whole
it.
Wall. Joe.
What was that?
No one frames the whole wall. English, please. That's what he said, wasn't it? That's what he said.
Here we go. He's going to tell me how to English. The Dane here is going to tell me how to English. So anyway, this is what I love about Rick. He's the grammar police. So forgive me.
And we've also got there's also another hidden reward tier. Our top reward tier is a augmented reality portrait commission. If Andrew wants to tell folks about that.
We got 3 of those left. That's the top of the tippity top. So I'll draw a portrait of you and then animate you, pretty much doing whatever you want. I can zoom it out. You can fight ninjas or whatever you want to happen. So,
so you can animate me wearing a thong
and doing a Clive dance
in slow motion. In slow motion.
I was listening to Andy talk about that, but I was staring at Rick's eyes when you were saying it, and I could just see his idea. You can custom me doing anything, like a custom animation of me doing anything. He's like thinking the wheels are turning. What he'd like to see. Augmented reality Rick doing something.
I will personally make sure that the whole rating system will be changed for your comic with my idea.
Yeah. So there's only 3 slots left, so get them before Rick does, because Rick's gonna defile the whole thing. But anyway, here we're talking about the add-ons here. Please check out their Kickstarter. I have the link there at the bottom for you to check out in the scrolling. And you can do a search, obviously, for Ballyskillen. You can't miss that.
I also put it in comments.
Yeah. Oh yes. see, professional. He knows how to run the show better than I do. He put it in the comment section. So yes, check it out. Love it. You guys are successful already, funded already. So everything now is just about getting those additional add-ons, those additional stretch goals. Once they get meet. And I think Sam, you mentioned they're not like unobtainable. It's like you have like different, like smaller tiers of stretch goals, and so once that does, it adds more extra stuff, and it's not, not like super big. You want to talk a little bit about those goals in terms?
Essentially, every $500, Andrew will add an extra piece of augmented reality, either animation or feature. So already half the book has augmented features, and by the time we get to, I believe it's 10,000, Andrew. The entire book will be animated.
I do my math right. That's correct. Yeah, I'll make sure there's something on every page. It just depends on like the level I can go.
We should have watched it on mine because my numbers look so much better.
I know. I was going to say that we have the American currency here at 4,500, and thank you, Rick, for helping them get over the 4,500 mark.
Why does it still says 135 backers? I backed.
Oh, maybe
I feel cheated.
Huh. Well, maybe it has to go through the Danish bank before it gets to America.
I don't know. I don't know.
Blame it on world currency, but you got a fan that's across the planet, guys. Phenomenal work. You got a fan
Thank
here.
Thank you so much for supporting us, Rick. We really appreciate it.
Well, it's well
we'll be sure to put some extras in the box for you.
There you go. It's going to be an extra thong.
Only if it's signed by Andy, because I also bought the signed add-on. I also bought the signed add-on, so I want a song signed by Andy and Sam.
I'm not even gonna go there with that, and where you choose to sign it and what you sign it with, that's all Andy, use your discretion in terms of like how you want to handle that one.
I think that's Rick's choice as the person making the request.
All right, so that being said, let's go ahead and move to the final phase, because I wanted to thank you guys, and of course this is where I just give I call it the Oscar thank you moment. I'm going to hand the mics over to you and Andy, Sam, and you guys just say what you want to say. Thank who you want to thank. You can thank Rick for his delightful commentary. If you want to do that.
There's no need. There's no need. It's okay. It's on me.
Yeah. Okay. So Sam, go ahead and say whatever you want to say.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. This is by far the most entertaining interview we've been doing.
You're welcome.
So I had a great time. Anytime you want us back, we are more than happy to. This has been an entertaining, wonderful thing. I should give a shout out to the campaign that just ended prior to this. It's Cauldron Magazine.
Oh, Rick, can you call that up? Do you still have that?
No.
Oh, you don't.
Sorry,
okay.
Okay, let me call. Go ahead and keep on talking.
Yeah, sure. Cauldron Magazine is an anthology of supernatural tales. It's in a larger, slicker magazine format for mature readers. It's a throwback to magazines like Heavy Metal and Epic and Eerie. And for mature readers, Rick might really actually get into this. It's funded, but you can click on this button here, and that'll take you to the Raid Studio store, where you can pre-order the latest issue or buy any of our 3 back issues.
Yeah, let me go ahead and pull up that as well. So let me go to banner and
create that short list of creators
and share screen. Let's go to the Raid. You said it was the Raid. Shane Heron Raid, right? That's the. So here you can go to here and you can buy this. This is another creative collaboration that Andy and Sam worked on. It's already printed, so you guys can have the opportunity to actually, if what you see through Ballyskillen is not enough, this is where you can see even more collaborative talent, creation between these two phenomenal creators. So definitely check those things out. So Is that your Sam? Did you have any other final thoughts before I hand the mic over to Andy?
No. This has been a wonderful experience. We really deeply appreciate the support. I look forward to checking out your communities and other interviews. I had a chance to look at 2 of them, but I'll definitely watch a lot more. Especially, I got to find the Rick Challenge episode.
Just take the ones with me. The others is just Tiago talking.
Oh yeah. And that's I just want to let you know that if it was just that, Rick wouldn't be fighting tooth and nail to be on the show with me. So I gotta say that. But Andy, tell us your final thoughts.
Yeah, thank you guys both first and foremost for having me on. It's awesome. Thanks, fun drawing. Thanks, Rick. Thanks for being here. Really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it. I'll make sure I throw this little guy in for you.
I would love it.
Yeah, thanks to all of our backers, everyone that's digging the project and everything. It's super fun. It's a dream come true for me to do all the animation. I love like 80s cartoons, so to be able to meld the 2 things together without taking away from comics is super awesome. So I just encourage everyone to hop on there, and not just to help us, but because it is going to be pretty awesome and something innovative. So get your hands on it now, because it's the #1. Everyone loves the #1. And
Get your hands on it.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Okay. So before I talk about our what we usually close with, Rick, I'm gonna give the mic to you because you're my partner in crime on this show, and I really like that you're a part of the show and how you were able to vibe with our guests. So please.
I mean, joking aside, what these guys got going with the augmented reality, with the art itself, and the story from what little we've seen, it's a must buy. It's a no-brainer to get it. If you are fonder of indie comics, in any sort of way, and you like funding people and want to know who to fund, these guys, they got 11 days to fund. Go fund them. You'll get socks. You'll get amazing story. You'll get amazing art from these people. You'll get almost everything you want. So go fund them. I'm sure you'll love it.
Everything you want.
They got t-shirts. They got even more socks and face masks and augmented reality. Go and buy everything now.
Okay, if that is not the best ringing endorsement you can get from anybody on the interwebs in Denmark, America, or Canada, I don't know what is. That's you're gonna see backers just coming out. They're just gonna be wanting to support that.
I keep my eye on the side.
Okay. All right.
If the backers haven't changed at least with 5 within the week, I'm not going to be a co-host.
Yeah, Rick is gonna go cry if that doesn't happen. But I see big things. You guys are gonna blow past all the stretch goals. We're gonna see a Netflix thing happen in the next 2 to 3 years. I think it's gonna happen. So thank you so much for being here on Let It Out, Comics Cast Let It Out. As we end the show, I like to show or share with our audience our charity partner. So let me pull that up right now, and here we go. So this is our charity partner, and they're known as Golden Fight, and they're basically a charitable organization that I like to say is big enough and small enough at the same time. Small enough in the sense that they are not nationwide here in America. They focus on the Mid-Atlantic region, which is like the DC, Virginia, Delaware, Maryland area. And that allows them to be very effective. And what they're effective at is that they help families that have children who are dealing with really severe illnesses, like cancer, for example. And when it happens, obviously there's going to be financial difficulties that families are going to incur. And by having an organization like Golden Fight, this is where they're big enough. They have big hearts. They can effectively help these families so that they can focus on their child's return to health, their healing. And by doing that, the financial difficulties they will inevitably, incur, Golden Fight takes care of that. And their organization, their big hearts translate to like 97 to 98% of whatever money they raise goes to those families. A lot of the leadership is volunteer. They have that 2 to 3% that they do keep is just for nominal administrative things. So big contributor to helping the families that are going through these difficulties and focusing on the healing of their child. So if you have, if it's within your means, or if you just want to check out a great organization, Golden Fight is that organization. Big enough, small enough at the same time. But yes, that's where we come to the sad part of the show, where we say goodbye. And I had such a great time getting to know the two of you. You have a phenomenal IP, great original characters. I'm looking forward to seeing the next issue. You know, like I said, and I wasn't joking around, you know, issue 1 is out, 2 is in the works. I think Sam said there was 3 and 4 that already been plotted. I'm waiting for issue 500. It's going to be that big.
Right.
Okay?
Awesome.
So that being
Thank you
said,
so much for being here,
thank
guys.
you so much. You guys
Thank
have
you,
a good
Rick.
Sunday.
Thank you,
Keep on drawing. Stay tuned for the next episode of Comics Cast Let It Out, and check out these guys. See you later.
Thanks, guys.
We're not spending that money in other places. So